Here we have it. Best of 5 group stage. This is an elimination game. So loser here is out of King of the Desert groups. We have Villese, the beast from Finland. I don't think there's any dispute that he is the best player in Finland nowadays, playing as Lithuanians. And then Slam, not too far away, Dave.
Oh, his
playing as the
woodlines,
Huns.
Tristan. Villese's woodlines have been nuked by the Oasis.
But
Slam's
Slam too.
woodlines have been hit by them as well, but at least he has one safe. Whereas Villese, like that back woodline, so little wood there, and the only full one for him is the one forward. So this is a very open generation. Luckily, he does have the gold at the back, but super, super open for the Finnish player.
Oh, man. At least he has plus 150 food, you know? Your woodlines are going to suck, but at least your food eco is going to be good. Yeah, similar for Slam, as he's scouted the one. There's a pond in the back, and there's another one there. I'm just really happy that it's somewhat fair with the fact that there's oases for both of them. What's the plural of oasis, by the way?
Oasis? Oases?
I think is it oasis or is it just...
I don't know, dude.
It's not oases. That sounds bad.
I think it might be oases.
What? I don't know. We'll have to see if viewers can tell us. But either way, Slam's going to choose the correct woodline. It feels really bad to choose that forward woodline if you're Villese, though. Like, you probably should, but he's going to take this tiny one for now. And that has, see if I can zoom in, 29 trees. That is not going to last him very long.
All right. And with an open map like this, I think it favors the Huns a little bit more than the Lithuanians for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Because the thing about Huns is they probably are one of the best civs with messy games. Games that are open, where you're doing a million different things at once and mistakes are being made. Huns are good because you never get pop locked and you don't have to spend the wood on houses. So you can build more buildings and you can just keep that production rolling. So if Slam, needed some help here today from the Age of Empires gods or the RNG gods, he certainly got it. But I'm just waiting to see if they'll scout each other because both players have such an open map. All they're doing is pushing in food right now.
Yeah, and well, Slam's going to get all of these in.
Oh, yeah.
Slam, above any other player, loves to push in extra food and will sacrifice his scouting any day of the week to do so. He's going to get that first zebra in there. Villese already had one in. Slam had previously found all of his scouts, and he's going to be looking fine here. Villese also looking pretty good at the beginning. Going out to the berries, so no pre-milled rush for him.
I think that in Slam's position, it's a little more risky to assume that Lithuanians are going to go for scouts, simply because they do more frequently go away from that. But it's Slam playing as the Huns, so Villese should just assume that Slam is probably just going to be going for scouts. And if you really want to get specific, they might even be looking at score. They have very similar scores, which indicates that the scouts are at home right now.
My chat had a ton of theories on what
Oases?
multiple oasis. Yeah.
Someone said OAC.
Someone said oasis. Another person said just call them ponds.
Ponds, yeah.
I guess.
That's a way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I have someone even trying to tell me, like, they're not typing out the full spelling of it. They're doing, what do you call it when it explains how you pronounce something? What's the way to describe that? Whatever that is, but yeah, no. Maybe that is it. Anyways, this is embarrassing, so let's move on. Loom's on the way, 19 pop. I'm loving the trend, Dave. No more of that 20 pop, healthy eco, 2 lumber camps all the time, though we might still see it. We're seeing a lot of 19 pops. That can be a little more aggressive. Oh, phonetic spelling is what I'm being told that is.
Phonetic.
Phonetic, yeah, that's what I was talking about.
All right, Villese is going for that forward woodline. He's actually placing a house to the right of that, so maybe he wants to wall off these woodlines at the back early just to secure that. He knows it's going to be an issue for him. He's going to have a lot of military production in Feudal. Otherwise, he's just going to get overwhelmed and pushed off this res.
I also think because he's going double lumber camp and he's trying to wall even just a little bit, he won't be able to afford the stable right away. Like Slam has gone 1 lumber camp with this level of an uptime, and he's taking straggler trees. So I think Slam will be able to afford the stable. If you look at the wood count for Villese, who's making a very awkwardly placed barracks, I just don't know if he's going to be there.
Lumber community there.
Yeah, it looks so odd. And he also doesn't know about the wood line to the south of his 4-tile gold because he's probably going to wall towards the oasis. As Spearman, though, Dave, you could just play defensive. You could go eco upgrades and expect the scouts from Slam and just make Spearman if you want to.
Oh, you could get punished for that so hard, though. If Slam goes into an earlier archery range and starts massing, you could get super punished for that. Slam attacking the palisade a little bit. I can't select.
What?
Trying to select the goddamn palisade. Okay. It's at 68 HP. Sorry, I got a little bit tilted there.
I could tell. Yeah, no, it's fine. I get it. Yeah, I think what I like so far, and we are going to see the stable for Villese, and he's going to play more defensive, but Slam's opening, it just looks like it's not going to be good for the long term with his eco setup, but I think it's a good mindset thing for him. Come out here, be aggressive. He understands the situation. Just will he be able to work his magic against so many speedy Lithuanian spearmen?
I mean, he did get doinked already by that spearman from Villese, so
Yep.
a good beginning to this game. Villese with 2 full HP scouts, Slam with 3 scouts of his own. 2 of those are full HP. Villese trying to complete that wall on the right side of his base. Slam knows he scouted that earlier, so he knows that's an objective for Villese, and he's going to head over there again. The spearman is patrolling, though, so Slam needs to be careful. And my question is, when does Slam add the range here? He's adding 2 more scouts behind this.
I think with one lumber camp approach, you cannot add the range. Not right now. If you have 2 lumber camps, you can do it. And Slam just goes for the spear. And Slam could get a Vil pick here, Dave. I love it.
He will.
No hesitation. He just goes for it. And this could lead to more kills as well. Great start for the Canadian.
Yeah, it's going to get real snowbally here. And all that wood that Villese invested in that wall is for nothing now.
Yeah.
As Slam sends more scouts forward. His wood line is pretty safe at home. His farming eco is relatively safe. He's run out of goats now, so a little bit of idle time from him. But all the pressure is in favor of the Canadian, and he's going to head over to this wood line from Villese. It's going to be tough for Villese to wall that. He does get the walls down at the end of the day and is coming over with more spears, so Slam needs to avoid that. Villese won't be able to find any damage currently.
Slam didn't even make a spear, bro. This is, again, the mindset of, you know what? I'm just going to be aggressive here, and I don't care what else happens. He didn't think about the eventual archery range because he's got that one lumber camp situation and a bunch of stragglers, and he continues to make scouts, but Leza can do nothing.
Yep.
This is sick. And he could, okay, against 3 spearmen, it's awkward. Oh, God. He must be reacting at home. Oh, no. Oh, no.
He is. He lost a scout forward against those spearmen, and he was reacting at home. He actually saved the villager.
Ooh.
So she survives on 1 HP. Villese got into the berries, unable to do damage there, though. Slam is now on gold with 2 villagers. Still only a stable right now. He doesn't have the wood to place another military production building. Actually going into more farms. Wow, like... You'd think you would go for the production rather than the farms right away if you're in Slam's position.
Yeah, so you get into this spot where it doesn't feel great to have to add a second lumber camp, and then you know you're going to need the food. I don't know. It's really tricky. I understand how he's playing this based on how he's played it, but having only killed 1 villager, it might not feel like it's enough for Slam right now, as his 1 scout just leaves the group. He will add spearmen, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Slam get bloodlines here. I feel like the 2 on gold and no archery
He's got
range
so many
could lead to
scouts,
that.
dude.
Yeah.
He's got 8 scouts right here. If he upgrades them, he could potentially keep pushing across the map. Still adding farms. No second military building yet. Archer range or... I don't think you can justify a second stable here, but I could see Slam going for it with this amount of food eco. 20 on food currently.
He's got to leave his berries, and that was an overextension from Slam. You're always going to see those speedy spearmen come forward. You need to match it with your own spearmen, and diving in with 2 there was a big mistake. He is going to get bloodlines, Dave, but I don't think bloodlines on 7 scouts is going to be able to make up the spear difference. So Villese is walled. Granted, he will probably overchop that 1 wood line. He is, for the most part, quite safe, but Slam does have the potential to make more scouts, make more spears, and at least all of his food eco is farms right now, so... He should be fine here.
Bloodlines. I wonder if Lesson noticed that Slam has bloodlines, and he's actually going to go forward with his scouts. He has 3 spearmen now in defense.
Whoa.
Villese is kind of pulling his army back. There's an opening right in front of the TC. Villese is not walled there. He's placing houses. Maybe he's thinking about bridging that gap. Yeah, he's placing palisade walls. Is he going to be in time? Slam is going to hit the berries, see that there's no villagers left there, and Villese will be walled in front of his TC in time for this attack.
What's good for Slam, though, is that Villese had to respect this possibility, and he came home.
Oh! I thought he was going to get in there. Oh my god, I thought that palisade wasn't complete.
So we don't have an archer range for either player. Normally, I would say that with the 2 lumber camp approach, you're starting to feel like that range transition could be possible. I don't know if you need it, but dude, he's about to run out of wood in the south. So like his lumber eco is really bad. Slam has that large chunk of wood line. Look at that new lumber camp. I just hope he doesn't delete the old lumber camp and then create a hole there, because I could see that happening.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to at this point. I mean, he's gone for a tower on his gold. He knows that's really exposed.
Yep.
These maps, man, these maps are so open. And even Villese, who has fully walled his base, like you said, the wood is just an issue for him, right? At some point, he's going to overchop that. There's going to be even more holes. And even if he doesn't overchop that, his only wood option is at the front. Scouts engaging there and now having to run away again.
Yeah, just going to say, what does Bloodlines do for Slam? Like right now, yeah, he can push away the scouts, but ultimately what that leads to is I think it leads to a later Castle Age time. If he had those resources, he would be on the way up, but maybe it won't be the end of the world, especially if he can get an engagement here.
Yep, he's engaging against the spearman with his own spears. He's got the tower there. He should be able to clear this up if Villese takes a fight. Although I think he's just going to run around currently. Slam will be able to click up here soon. Archer range just going down, so he's going to be going into cav archers.
I like it.
And there's the resources. He doesn't have the second building. Oh, Slam. That's why you make the production buildings earlier. He's going from market,
and a
double archer range, and a blacksmith.
I like how he went from not having the second building to having the second, the third, and the fourth building. Just everything.
Yep. And that's going to delay it by a lot. And Slam's eco is very open at the moment. If Knights manage to get into the wood line, into the gold, into anything, could be a problem for Slam because he won't have the military to counter them.
Yeah, and Villese did the right thing here. He realized Bloodlines wouldn't have done anything for him. He waited to get Bloodlines till after he was on the way to Castle Age. So now they both have 65 HP on their scouts. And now he shows up, and Villese will see something that probably won't surprise him. He sees 3 archer ranges. He knows Slam will try and go cav archers, but Dave, Knights could run right underneath this tower. The tower does nothing against cav.
Yep, and Slam doesn't even have the armor for his scouts yet, so Villese will win the fight if he engages 1v1, and the spearmen from Slam are just constantly chasing the spears from Villese, which are faster. Villese is now in the Castle Age. It'll take Slam 1 minute and 20 seconds to get there. Scouts from Slam going down. This looks so good for Villese right now.
I just love how annoying he's been. Look how many spearmen are chasing his 2 spearmen. He doesn't have to necessarily micro the spearmen, but he is, because he knows that if there's not spearmen at that gold, then that's going to be good for those knights. Slam, though, realizing that he's going to be behind, is going to go for a 4th range, so that will help with his initial production, but I question if he's going to be able to add enough, because the knights are on the way. Yeah.
And he's wisely kept all his spearmen at the gold.
Yeah.
That is the one area of your eco that is exposed. The wood lines aren't looking great, for sure. But keep the spearmen at the gold, and he gets a few good initial hits there on the knight from Villese. But Villese able to get in on the wood line with his scouts. He has double pierce armor on those scouts with the +2.
Oh my god, that was so good. Is he going to get another Vill with the scouts? He does. He gets away with the scouts and the knights, Dave. Villese is playing this so well.
Slam forced to go into pikeman. Yikes.
Yeah, that's a yikers, man. You got the TC now for Villese. So his eco is good. He even saved the very weak knight, so he can send that home to maybe heal up. And we all know what Lithuanians are able to do when they get the relics.
Yep. Good hits, though, from the spearmen on the knights from Villese. And now they're pikemen, so he's going to take out 1. Slam is only behind by 3 villagers here, both players with wheelbarrows so far. Slam is building up his cav archer mass, and like we said before, Huns are Huns.
Huns are Huns,
if you get the military advantage, you get that cav archer mass, suddenly it's feeling very bad for Villese, especially with his woodline situation. Still hasn't really secured himself a decent woodline. That one at the front is going to be raidable, and it's going to run out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, when he placed the town center, I understood it because he wasn't sure what Slam had, but I really think the town center should have been on the other side of the wood line because that would protect better from the CA. It's not the end of the world. He will have a Vil lead, and he's going to get relic number 1, which will give him +1 attack on those knights.
I love those 4 cav archers going forward from Slam. Villese is going into skirmisher now. Elite skirm is on the way. He's going to defend at his base. You want to be putting pressure on the Hun base, though. You don't want the Huns to be able to run around, split up their cav archer army, and hit you on multiple sides.
Yeah, I feel like the timing on everything for Villese has been so clean today. Look, Elite Skirm comes in at the perfect time. Bodkin was already in. It's really tricky to make knights and also make skirms right now with this economy, so he's pretty much just deciding a knight or 2 here or there, but mainly the skirms. And now Slam's got to sit back, and Slam didn't even have Bodkin? Oh, man, that explains why maybe he didn't take a fight there.
Well, he doesn't even have the first armor upgrade either. Not as important. He's getting ballistics right now. Bodkin is on the way. There's 1 knight from Villese in the back of his base. I think Slam notices this. He's going to go back for that. A siege workshop now from Slam. So this is a castle age all in here.
Dave, look real quick. Blue scout in the south, scouting relic. Blue scout in the west, scouted the relic. So Villese is doing everything with his macro and his unit production. He peels off those extra scouts and finds the relics. So that could be +3 attack on his knights if he snags them.
University now from Villese too. He wants ballistics for his skirmishers. Slam could be in time to deny that, but not likely. And the knights, the skirms, and the monks will all be sitting on that hill from Villese with the TC there too. Ballistics is in though from Slam. So he can take good engagements now against the knights. If they peel away, he'll be able to hit them. Still trying to mass up the CA. He's got 25 on the field. Has the siege workshop, but hasn't produced from it at all yet.
I think what Slam needs is he needs to hit a spot that is not the front of Villese's base. If he can hit the side, Villese has to make a decision. We've seen this a lot where players don't know what to do. And if Villese's too much forward or too much back, then suddenly things can start to shift.
I don't agree with that TC on the gold from Villese. It secures that side, sure, but I think you need one on wood at this point.
Slam needs to show up at Villese's base soon because the longer that Villese doesn't see him, the more he's going to push forward. Here come the CA. The armies are out of position for both players. What in the world happens here? The Mangonel! Oh, and it's a good shot. If he can get one more shot, he might like things here, Dave. He won't get it.
Cav archers are in on Villese's base, too. He does get a good shot against the skirmishers. The knights, however, are attacking the cav archers. They're 10+3 knights. The cav archers are into Villese's base at the back. So Villese is off that gold. He's onto the secondary gold now. He's still struggling for wood income, though. He's still running out of options. The knights, though, doing so much damage.
Yeah, and the difference is there's town centers at one base and there's not town centers at the other. Really, that's it. I mean, Villese is not going to have an efficient eco, but he's not going to have villagers running around like Slam's base. And all Villese will do every time he sees a CA, focus it down with the skirms, the knights with that extra attack will just melt the Vils. I think Slam needed to be quicker to hitting Villese's base because he could not allow Villese to go forward, and maybe Villese expected it, Dave, but yeah, Slam just completely destroyed now.
Yep. And he sent all of them back instead of to the TC, and he got punished for that, right?
Yep,
he
exactly.
changed his mind, sent them back to the TC. They got wiped up by the knights. Cav archers are in the back here, still looking for damage. Eco Kitty, 15-5 currently. At least the skirmishers are going to get wiped up at the back of Slam's economy. So he can potentially do damage to the knights, but his cav archer's just not finding value right now.
Yeah, and now the counter's in with the upgrades you need as well. You have full armor, full attack, which is so expensive, plus ballistics. Villese made this look so easy here. I don't understand how someone can be this technical and this clean with everything. They'll clear up the CA. He's got 10+4 attack on the knights, so the knights kill everything. But, like, you weren't kidding, Dave. Villese looked really good. I don't even think Slam made any big errors in this game, but any small mistake, like getting bloodlines when he didn't need it, maybe not going for the archery range earlier, is just punished so hard.
Imagine if Slam doesn't invest. Now, you talked about the double lumber camps and whatnot and not having the wood, but if Slam doesn't invest the wood into farms and just goes feudal aggression there with an archery range and scouts, I feel like he's much better off than he was just going pure scout spam, just because Villese was making so many spears and had 2 really exposed wood lines.
I I don't know. I think that it would have been really tough in that situation, but the thing I want to talk about is Villese. Like, if you just watch the Doubt Yo series, you saw how Doubt really struggled to do proper transitions in Castle Age. He would have control, but when he would add the town centers, he would lose some of that control. Because it's tough to have the proper balance of getting the units and the eco out. Sometimes you have to lean more to one side. But, like, look, just think of the cost of the upgrades he went for with the second TC. He went for Bodkin, Fletching, both Archer armors, the Cav armor, and the attack. Like, this guy almost got every single blacksmith upgrade and had to field the units and had TCs. Like, that's just nuts. Whereas Slam, he was upgrading one unit, Cav archers, and Slam barely even had more numbers. That was incredible.
Yep. And that's what you get with a super open map, right? Your timings have to be on point, and Villese's timings were exactly on point.
Yep.
A great point you made earlier, too, was Slam trying to push that forward hill twice with the Cav archers.
Yeah.
Imagine if he just goes to the side immediately instead of trying to push that position.
Yeah, peel off 5 Cav archers to the one wood line and then send the other group to the other. It was just hesitancy. It was good for him to loop around to the gold, but it was 10 seconds too late, and Villese just punished him. But geez, I think that Slam from the get-go there was thinking, I have to kill really, really quickly, and that is just not a mindset that really excels too much at this level, because 1 or 2 villager kills isn't all it takes to kill someone. You need to also have good follow-ups, and I guess we got to forget about it now, and so does Slam, but not the start he wanted, probably with his favorite Civ. What do we have
a good
here
map
now?
generation for Huns, too.
Yeah, a really good map gen. You would think that he could have made that messier, Dave, instead of more clean, just staying on the stable. Like, there's certain things that just get me going, and Villese's macro in that game is just freaking sick. It felt like the timing on every upgrade, the timing on everything was just immaculate. I'm so impressed with that. That was like better than anything we saw from Leary earlier today. Let me put it to you that way. Leary might not like me for that, but
big words.
Fine. Yeah.
Big words there.
Yeah. And now watch, Villese is going to have like 3 holes in his walls and he's going to forget horse collar. And then I'm going to look really bad. Jeez. So if I'm Slam, I would go a different direction for this next game. I would probably go for something that incorporates archers a little bit more, because you have a lot of Cav civs out there, or civs that counter knights if you're Villese. There's Aztecs, which would wreck most knight civs, Burgundians, and Berbers. So maybe like Tatars, Japanese, or Vietnamese would make sense for Slam.
Sorry, people are complaining again about my prediction.
What was your prediction?
That's why I don't want to do predictions, you know?
What was your prediction?
No. My points prediction in my chat.
Oh, yeah, those are fun.
I got to pay it out.
Yeah. Don't you have mods?
I do, and they've been working really hard, but my mod selection process is maybe not the best in hindsight.
I'm one of your mods.
I know, but I usually pick people who don't want to be mods.
Yeah, that's true. That doesn't work out too well in the long run.
At least I know they won't abuse their powers.
That's true. Well, I just keep looking at Aztecs here, and I'm just thinking how horrible that's going to be when you're trying to select a civilization. I don't see a single civ on Slam's side that really makes me comfortable going into the next game unless Aztecs is used. So, yeesh. Good news for Slam is he's not up against Aztecs here, and we have some catching up to do. But Slam, again, is going to be in the red. Props to these guys for keeping the freaking colors consistent. And Villese is in the blue, playing as the Burgundians. So Burgundians getting their eco upgrades 1H earlier is the big talking point. And then their Cavalier and Castle Age. But I do feel like Indians could do very well in this matchup, Dave.
And Indians have done very well throughout the tournament. We'll see if Slam continues that. Burgundians, though, if they have a good map, are very, very dangerous. Like Tato earlier, having that map generation against Leary and just able to even stonewall one side, buy himself enough time. We see Villese already getting double bid axe So his wood chopping is going to be coming at a furious rate.
Yeah, and he can kind of do anything off this as well, but I think the main theme that you'll see is very similar to the previous game. In the previous game, Villese was more prone to wall up, and then Slam was more prone to be aggressive. And I think this Civ matchup just lends itself perfectly to that. Slam will kind of open similar to how he did before. Might go for 19 or 20 pop. But I think with this map gen, as the wood lines are a little better, granted they're not great, I would say you need to go 2 lumber camps. Because if you go 1 lumber camp scouts, you never feel in a healthy spot to switch into anything but scouts and feudal. And that kind of hurt Slam in the previous game.
Mm-hmm. Someone just called me a noob intermediate level with controller on AoE4. I'll have you know.
Did you play with the controller on AoE4?
Yeah, I'm like 71% win rate.
I guess that makes sense because you're just running into people who
I've lost
never
like
played
3
RTS games
bro.
before. Well, Dave, I don't know if you hear this enough, but I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
I don't.
I feel like, you just don't hear that enough from people. People on the internet are always so mean, Dave. They talk about the negatives. I'm proud of you. Yeah. Look at this. Look at the berries for a second. How annoying is that? I'm pretty sure those villagers won't be able to collect the same bush with those walls.
The ones from Villese?
Yeah, watch the one on the right. She's going to go drop off the food here, and she's going to be like, she's going to get stuck. Ready?
Yep. Well, he's already planning the wall off, and it's very open on the front, but he's going to make it happen.
Here we go. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready. She did it fine.
Okay, never mind. Apparently, I need to learn. Okay, that would have been a good prediction, though. Okay, give me credit for taking a risk.
I would love if Slam could go right up to that wall and hit the villagers diagonally behind.
That might actually happen, yeah, because sometimes you can do that. And I feel like you can hit through walls more so now than you could ever. So, Slam up so fast. Wow, 19 pop.
We say that all the time with Indians. Every single game, 19 pop up.
2 lumber camps. So his eco will be a whole lot more efficient long term. Eric's at home. He saw the berries. I like how Villese did pre-wall. And will be another scout opening for Slam. Can you do a Slam impression for me? Just like, what would Slam be saying about this matchup right now, if you were to ask him?
Oh, man. Burgundians. Oh, man. I can't do it. No, can't do it today. Some days I can. Today I can't do it.
You didn't have it, but it was closer than I would have got, so that's fine.
Yep.
All right, Slam needs his victory, I'd say. If he loses this game, I think it's going to be tricky to come back against Villese, who's looked so good.
Yeah.
Better approach so far, at least in the Dark Age. Slam with a very fast stable.
Man, the one game that I remember Tato played Indians. Was it Indian? No, it was Khmer. That was right. He went up like 18 pop and then went 1 archery range with Khmer.
18 pop archers?
Vikings.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
that sounds like something
ridiculous like that. It just wasn't. He ended up winning the game, so I looked like an idiot saying it was a bad build. But
well, I guess against Vikings, there's arguments to be made, but I get what you mean. It's tricky. For Slam though, he's definitely thinking more long term this game, and it almost looks like he's just accepted that he's not going to do damage to Villese. His starting scout is simply patrolling to protect his Wallville, and his other scouts going forward right now. Hopefully he doesn't patrol that. Okay, he sees it. Yeah, so good control from Slam, who I guess could wall up just like Villese is looking to do, but it just doesn't feel like something that you get excited about when the Burgundians can research their eco upgrades 1 age earlier.
Well, I mean, how does the unit composition match up, though? If in Castle Age, Burgundians are going into Cavalier and Indians are going into Camels, right? So
yeah, true.
Feels decent.
I could definitely see something like Cavalier Pikeman against Cav Archer Camel in the mid game, if we get there. I mean, there's still so many exposed areas, but look at Slam in the north. He's just going to wall up, and Villese is expecting Slam Scout, so he just falls home. Yeah, this is like very much a Scout v Scout meta thing in present-day Age of Empires. 2 years ago, both players would probably run out with their Scouts and both lose villagers, but nowadays everyone just sits at home. Okay, so here's something that
we've got time.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the alternative options for Slam because nothing else is really happening. I think that if someone like Leary or Tato would have seen those berries, Dave, and the way they were walled, I think they would have gone man-at-arms and archers. Like, imagine being on the hill, pressuring the berries, and being able to actually do damage to Burgundians who have those eco upgrades ahead of you. So, but, you know,
I think that
maybe it doesn't suit Slam.
That doesn't suit Slam's style. And I think even against the Burgundians, Slam is going to be, he's not going to be happy that the Burgundians are allowed to boom.
Overchop.
Although there is a hole.
There's a
There is a
hole.
hole there.
Villese?
But if it's a boom war, I think Slam is in his comfort zone, right? Is a very good boomer. And Villese is going to lose one Vill. And he might lose two here.
Slam is going to be so annoying with this. He's going to get one, Dave, and he's just going to run around forever. Well, never mind. He might double back, but... Yeah, now he's happy with it. Yeah, now he's very happy with it.
All the Vills are basically full HP, so nothing to be sniped here. But he will probably weaken a few, and he's going to force stuff out like this house on the lumber camp. So he's going to be a little bit annoying with these scouts, a lot bit annoying with these scouts, taking more HP off that villager, forcing a spearman from Villese now.
Yep, good job from Villese. He just opens up his walls, brings his scouts in. So now it's probably unlikely Slam will get another one. Oh, wow, he's actually going to bring the full HP scout to the middle to scout the map. I like that. And then use the other scouts to chase. Is Slam going to go back to that guy on the wood line? That's his only chance here. Oh, well.
Never mind.
I think he will, but it's not going to do anything for him. So, yeah, we're going to see Castle Age. Villese has both the Castle Age wood and farm upgrade right now. He's got plenty of gold income, but there is some investment in that. So I think the Castle Age times will be pretty even. And Slam wants to go for Cav Archers again.
And he's hiding them.
He is.
Okay, so a few camels from the one stable and then Cav Archers behind. And that feels pretty good against Cavalier and Pikeman if Villese is going to go into that.
I agree with you. I think that if you think of the alternative option with the same comp, if you were to go 2 stable camel and 1 range Cav Archers, that would not be as effective. But with ranged units, you need to mass them. He's going to go for the ranges. And here comes Villese, and Villese cannot see it. So he might expect it, but he has no way to confirm it. I like it.
Yep. All he sees is the stable. Slam still with no market. The other GL guys would have gone market already, but I think Slam is planning on maybe adding a few TCs behind the pressure and just withstanding the Castle Age from Burgundians. And really the only thing Burgundians like have an Imperial Age, sure they have the cheaper Paladin upgrade, but then there's the nuclear option of Flemish Militia, right? Yeah. But other than that, their composition is not the greatest.
I think
so. If you get into a super boomy game, I think you favor Indians here.
I think you need to go 3 stable with Burgundians because one of your stables is going to be researching the Cavalier upgrade, and the Cavalier upgrade takes a very long time.
Yep.
So, unless I'm wrong, does he only have 1? Wow, he's got 1 stable, which means he might add TCs, and that's super greedy. I would say 3 stable. We do see 2 stable quite frequently as well. There's an argument to be made for that, but one of the rare times I think we might see just an immediate double TC drop for Villese, and he's just going to test Slam and see if Slam has the ability to break him.
Yeah, and where does he put the TCs? Because his wood lines currently can all be ranged by Cav Archers.
I would love one to the south of the front lumber camp, right between the gold and the wood line. I think that'd be perfect.
Yep.
But also risky. Like, he might have army out there. You don't want to run out there. A lot of players would add archers in Slam's position and then show up with crossbows on the other side of that, so it's really not a spot. He's adding... Oh, I guess he wasn't in Castle Age yet. Okay, there's the TC, similar to where we were talking about.
Slam shouldn't show these Cav Archers, and he didn't attack that scout. I think you got to build up enough and then try and hit the wood lines. He's going to actually spot this TC coming down. I don't think he has enough time to get there with the Cav Archers to deny it.
I think Villese will know it's CA now because he could click the scout and see Bloodlines is in, but he won't see, he won't see any armor, and now he sees the Cav Archers. So good job for Slam to release them. And what's really sick with Indians is you do not need a lot of food to create your vills. So you can just send everything to wood and gold, mass the Cav Archers, and you can still keep your TCs running.
I also like how Villese has used his scouts to find everything on the map.
Yeah.
Right? He's found a bunch of the relics. He was actually sitting on some of them with his scouts. Slam is now going to kill the spearman, lose the spearman of his own, and start pressuring the front of the base here. And it's skirmisher defense from Villese. He's also building up his knights.
Yep. He's just going to try and buy time with this. I think he realizes he can never really win a fight, but he can push this away. And this is very similar to the previous game. Villese went immediate TC, and he went for those skirms. I think for Slam, you've got to look at this and realize that maybe adding a TC of your own is the play. Yep.
Yeah. And there it is.
I'm not sure I
right
like
on that gold.
TC.
Well, I mean, the hills are kind of screwing you over, right, with TC placements. That reminds me of the TC Yo put in the Aztecs game against Stout. It looks very familiar.
True. I don't love it, but I love how he skipped ballistics. He did go for the university, but he realizes that he needs to catch up in eco. Also, skirms need the attack upgrades, they need the numbers, and they need the armor. So that's going to take some time for Villese, who goes for TC number 3. And we have a pretty close game. Villese has the better eco, though, and Slam's going to have to find a way to break that. But this is the hill, Dave. You've got 2 forward golds here. This is the area that wins Slam or loses Slam the game.
Yep. Also needs to use his mobility a little bit. Go around and hit some wood lines, too. If he had sent a couple cav archers over to the left, I think Villese might overreact to that. And then he can find some damage. Actually, take out that monk, which is a good pick.
Good job. It just shows how Villese wants to play this. Villese only has a couple skirms. Slam needs to be more aggressive with this. He could be fighting those skirms. Dave, another thing to point out is that all the stones for Villese are a bit exposed. He does have that one on the left near his walls, but that could easily be ranged. So if you're looking for a defensive castle in Villese's position, it will not be easy.
And without the second armor upgrade on these skirms too, and ballistics is about to come in from Slam. This is a concerning army at the back here.
Yeah, I think Slam should own this army, truthfully. This army is a bluff at this point. Villese wants to scare Slam away. Good micro from Slam. He kills a knight. Cav Archer goes down. Armor will probably be prioritized in a moment. Slam should just kill everything, Dave. With ballistics, he's hitting the knights. He's not missing.
Ballistics on the way for Villese, but it's still 50 seconds away, Tristan. And the second armor upgrade is not in yet. And Slam is debating the shots. Good micro there from him. He's got more units coming on the front of Villese's base. Slam is getting the hill now. He'll kill the knight. He'll kill these skirmishers. And Villese is just constantly reacting. And behind this, Slam has 3 TCs. He's a little bit housed right now, but he should be able to add eco behind the damage that he's currently doing.
Look at the next wave, Dave. On the other side of the wood line, he knows where the villagers went. Now the stone's not protected, so we can get those villagers as well. Great job from Slam, who is still behind in villagers, but he has control of the game. He's killing everything he sees.
Yeah, and this is the area that Slam really thrives, when he's got the macro behind, the economy behind, and then a couple groups of military units. He can use his insane speed to split his attention, and it's really impressive to watch. 10 villagers behind Villese right now. He will catch up, though. He'll keep this skirmisher army distracted at the back and keep the pressure on that wood line at the front.
Oh, yeah. If you could get the monks, too, that would be helpful. He gets one, and he'll get some villagers, too. Now, Villese has armor on the skirms, but he doesn't have many of them yet. Slam also recognized in one of the battles in the back that there is ballistics in for Villese. So he's got to start thinking, okay, these skirms could be strong, so he should just avoid them. So I think most people go forward Siege Workshop on that hill. But Slam might just add a bunch of farms and add light cav or something.
Worker efficiency, struggling for Villese versus Slam. He's going to lose some more villagers here. Ballistics is doing work for Slam. Still picking off vills at the front, and the villager count is almost even now.
Yep.
Now, granted, Villese did have the eco upgrades earlier, but he doesn't have that third wood upgrade yet. Slam is losing the cav archers at the back. Might be able to take this monk first. He does.
Nice.
He kills more vills at the front.
Yeah, nice. This has all been worth it for Slam. I do not think the economy has been as strong for Villese as he would have wanted. Just feels like, I mean, I guess he got away with it in the first game, Dave, but it just felt a little greedy. But not greedy enough where he can't switch out of this.
12 cav archers in the queue. Oh my
Holy
god,
crap.
for 3 ranges?
No wonder he's getting housed all the time, dude. He's going to need houses. As both players do have villagers on stone, so I think we're getting to the stage of the game where getting castles on hills becomes important. And I guess if you're Slam, you have to think, if this game goes late, is this good for you or is this bad for you? I actually think it's good for Indians, and maybe your castles should all be defensive.
I like how he keeps coming back to this wood line at the front.
Yep.
Market there for Villese. I mean, look at his eco, right? 1,100 gold in the bank. He's actually adding an outpost there at the front to give him early warning in case these cav archers come in, but more villagers will die. Another one goes down. Slam almost has the Vill advantage. He's going to pick another one. 72 to 71. Now he has the Vill lead. And I think at this point, he's made the right decision to make another stable there. And think about light cav, although he's not really producing any. Only one.
This is where a lot of players are going to want to go for the kill against Villese and drop a castle on that hill. And I think that that's a way to potentially throw the game. Because Villese is probably going to buy one soon and drop his own, right? So we'll see. But I kind of like the idea of Slam just placing a defensive castle at home. There's a lot of crucial hills there. I could see Cav Archer and Hussar being really good against Burgundians in the late game. And 2 light Cav, Dave, that's going to be enough there.
I think
good job,
if
Slam.
Slam just produces light Cav here and keeps the Cav Archer mass, I think Villese just might die.
Yeah, just keep pressuring with military, and then just in case you don't kill him, then you could just place your castles at home.
Oh, there's
look
the
at that castle.
With the light Cav. Dude, with the light Cav able to tank the shots from the skirmishers, Slam could kill a lot of villagers here.
Oh, and he could honestly just deny it. That castle might never go up here, Dave. The light Cav can get to any skirm that's out there. The TC doesn't have any villagers inside. Slam didn't
go in.
Maybe it's just too risky. He's going to back away.
Okay.
Whatever. He did a lot of damage, but still, it's 85 villagers for both. Just feel like if we were to look at the total resources collected, Slam has brought in 1,000 more resources, so he's just been a whole lot more efficient at home.
Okay. Villagers now coming out. They're going to be found by the scouts from Villese, but Slam will clear those up. Look at the amount of cav archers. 30 cav archers with 17 in the queue from 3 archery ranges.
Dude, he just needs to, if he can just
add another range.
If he can just cancel some of that, he could do so much with it. And he is going to drop it forward. And Dave, I don't mind this one. He saw that Villese has placed his castle, so he knows that Villese can't respond to this one with his own. And Villese is going to buy his own, Dave. He's going to drop it right here. Oh, God, Slam.
If Slam scouted that, he needs to delete this. Yeah. He hasn't scouted it yet. That's terrible. And the fact he only sent this many villagers forward is not good for him. I mean, that castle is going to get denied from Slam. He spots it now. Like, just delete. Save the stone.
I'm telling you, like, you're already controlling the game, and Villese can't move out. Place the castle defensively and control the map with military. This might actually go up, but it just feels like it's a little unnecessary from Slam. And yeah,
it's
not going to. Yeah, it's just... And I mentioned it because I can understand the temptation to want to drop a forward castle.
Oh.
It's just too much. Not against Villese. You need to play passive, drop defensive castles, and win as he was doing, Dave, with the CA.
Yep.
At least he didn't lose a lot of vills, and he is still going to get a big clear up here on this hill. So that's a big overextension for Villese. So that'll be good for Slam, as he's making a siege workshop there for some reason. It's very odd.
Siege workshop. I mean, he should know that he's more or less equal on eco. He's still raiding on the left side with cav archers.
Yep.
He was sitting there before he can sit on that stone, I think, safely, but there's skirmishers there from Villese. I just think, like, a castle is a perfect way to end a game or throw a game.
Yep.
And there's if you send forward 12 villagers, that's great. If you send forward only, 7? That is really, really too risky in this situation.
The way this game is shaping up, Slam's going to have cav archers and hussars, and Villese is going to be stuck in a corner with 2 defensive castles. So that's fine if you're Indians. If you're another civ, like let's say you're Aztecs or some civ that doesn't have as much mobility, then you need to force the issue more. I still think Slam, like, he was far enough ahead where that mistake right there will not necessarily end the game for him. He's still ahead. He is going to click
go up first.
And he's got tons of CA. And I don't even know how you counter CA with Burgundians, because he doesn't have the knight numbers. He doesn't have the Coustier numbers. And their skirms are really bad long term. So CA is just the perfect unit here.
Coustier?
That's how you say it, man.
Costilier. Is it
no,
not?
it's I thought it was that. And then someone made a video on how to pronounce the new unique units.
Okay.
And that's what Ornlu said it was. I don't know if we can trust Ornlu on that, but if I were to trust Ornlu with anything, it would be pronunciations. So I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah.
Okay, KotD4 it is then.
KotD4.
KotD4 sounds like it sounds like a company name, like they make biscuits or something.
Canadians are so weird. What companies do you have up there?
French ones, dude. Obviously.
That's true. That's not too far off.
Our packaging is in English and French. Can you blame me?
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Well, there's the gold upgrade for Slam, and he also could get Sultans, which increases the gold income even more with Indians. And I've just been loving the Indians in this tournament so far. They played really well in a lot of different Civ matchups. Yep. It's just, will Slam recognize how to finish out this game? Villese is going to make him earn it, and he's going to have these castles in the corner, and he's just going to sit back here. We could actually see the Flemish Revolution at some point in this game.
I mean, he's got 130 villagers right now. He's got enough on farms. I guess the only issue would be for him, where do you place those extra TCs to pump up more vills? Because you want a ton of TCs, not only to get your villager count up, but to recover if the Flemish Revolution doesn't kill your opponent, right?
Yeah, you almost need, for that to work, you almost need to have 5 or 6 TCs with some army.
8.
Yeah, so it's like, it seems like it'd be strong here, but I think if Slam had defensive castles, then he should be fine. And I'm really waiting for Slam to drop a castle near his monastery. There's stone there, so you protect the hill, and then you just collect more stone for all the other corners of the map.
Here come the vills.
Here come the vills for Slam.
He's going for a castle on that hill.
You're overextending, Slam. Like, you don't need to do that. Just place a defensive castle, man. This is killing me.
I think you cancel it now. I think you definitely cancel it now, right?
Yeah.
Don't go forward for that. What do you do? Okay, good.
And don't place it where your army is. Place it further south. Like, he needs to sit down with Hera and just talk about placing castles for 30 minutes. Hera will solve that problem real quick. Hera's all about defense, expanding farms. The thing is, he could still mop up this fight. The skirmishers are so unbelievably bad for Burgundians, but he's just not doing himself any favors with some of these castle positions.
Or KotD4 on the way for Villese.
What's their Pierce armor going to be?
I don't know what their Pierce armor is, but I know their attack is 11, not including the charge damage that they do. So they're on par with a Tarkin. It's just the Pierce armor that's gonna be a problem for them.
I'm trying to think about their HP. Does it go to 150? We'll find out in a second. 145. If they get hits, it will be strong, Dave, but I just don't see this unit being as good as it needs to be. It'll be like 6 Pierce armor? 7 Pierce armor?
Slam needs to keep his Cav Archer numbers up.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, number one, he won't be able to take this fight as effectively. And number two, if the Flemish Revolution comes and you don't have Cav Archers to deal with it, you're in big trouble. Actually, Villese going for the raid at the bottom. And those are going to kill a lot of villagers.
There should be a castle there every day of the week, every tourney. There should always be a castle there. Oh my god. But Slam just not noticing, and that's such a good play from Villese. And good quick walls from Slam. He's not going to let this army get back into his base. So he will lose stone miners, but he should defend from that.
Yeah, and he'll have enough for another castle, which will also help against the Flemish Revolution. You have ballistics, you have all the arrow upgrades, so your castles will be doing decent damage.
Wow. This is a crazy game, Dave. It has really turned into something special. And like, somehow, we're at 200 pop for both. We've got 63 on food for Villese. That's almost double what Slam has. And I think that Slam's comp is pretty much as good as it gets against the Burgundians.
Yep.
But the Burgundians aren't finished yet. We have Halb on the way now. And
we have the potential.
For the Flemish Revolution. And now Burgundian Vineyards, Dave. This is... Like, everyone talks about the revolution being broken, but Burgundian Vineyards is nuts. You get gold income from your farms. It's insane. Hussar on the way here for Slam. Sometimes one player has the hill, sometimes the other player has the hill. For the most part, Villese has the hill. What I'm concerned about is, will he have KotD4 after this fight? I think the KotD4 disappear. And then the skirmishers are subpar, so they're going to disappear as well. And Slam has 71 military, Dave, and now you go forward castle. There we go. Now you drop the castle. The Trebs will be in the perfect spot to take out Vilese's castle. Perfect.
Yep. Another castle from Villese over in the south. on that hill. Slam, though, with this impressive army. 78 military. Villese is not queuing up more villagers, by the way.
Look at the ram.
I don't think he's thinking about Flemish yet, unless it's like a panic option as he loses everything.
Dave, the ram from Slam. Slam is going to lose his trebs to a ram. It's a great fight for him. He's lost one of his trebs. Will it matter? Not your damn Slam. Not your... No, please. Oh. Dave, he's killed so much, but Villese is still in this. This is an incredible, incredible hold from Villese. I think Slam has done him a few favors here or there, but holy crap, what a queue he has of skirms and halbs. Yeah, I'm with you. Normally, if you're going for the revolution, you want to boom up more, but I just don't think he will because he doesn't have the town centers. He would need to have 4 or 5 TCs.
He might be going for it now. I mean, Slam only has 37 on farms. If you're talking about a Hussar spam,
yeah.
I mean, he's got 22 Cav Archers in the queue still. Don't tell me he's still producing from only 3 ranges. Oh my god, dude, come on!
No, Slam. And Dave, he took the initiative on this hill, and he never got to push with the trebs because of 1 ram. It's just the simplest things. He's got 26 Cav Archers and 3 archer ranges.
Yep.
I mean, he still could do it, Dave. He's got stone to hold. He's still getting good clear-ups. He's still in the better late-game position here, but will that change? KD's looking fine. He's repairing and chewing up units. He's dodging back and forth. He might push this back.
I mean, the skirmishers they're providing cover, sure, and like the KotD4 are trying to help them out, but they're just so weak, right?
Yeah. I cannot believe 1 ram stalled the game out that much. There should have been 2 traps on Villese's castle with Villese no response. As we now have a bombard cannon for Slam.
Bombard cannon.
That's huge.
And for Villese, too.
Ooh, wow. Such an even game. Maybe the closest game of the day, if we're being honest. And
honestly,
there's been some amazing games. We haven't seen too many go late. Villese gets the hit. Slam gets the hit with the bombard cannons. And Slam still keeps his alive. He backs away to the castle. If he could take that treb, Dave, this could be good. Neither player really raiding in the south. There's a lot of open space down there. Jesus. And wow. Treb down, Slam holds.
Bombard cannon down from Slam.
Yeah.
Managed to kill the treb, lost the bombard cannon, still has his Cav Archer numbers. He could have a lot more if he wanted to. I mean, he's still got 16 in the queue from 3 ranges.
He's probably like, man, why don't I have resources right now? Like, why? He has the army numbers, which is probably why he doesn't feel the need to add more ranges. But he just doesn't have wood in the bank because of that.
Yeah, and doesn't have gold to repair the treb either. 0 on gold currently.
And he's not getting gold from farms like the Burgundians are.
He's going out to the gold at the top. So he's going to take that neutral option, but he's running... Dude, he's running out of military here. Villese is just spamming trash at him. The treb from Villese still hasn't gone down. This treb war has been going on for a very long time.
Oh!
Slam takes it out. He saves his own treb.
Dave, Slam needs to take Villese off of wood. Villese is looking good with everything except for wood. Look where he's relocating his lumberjacks in the south. There's a lot of openings there. If Slam could get a few stables in the south, that could do it, because it seems like Slam's army is stronger. It's just, can he afford to continue to create them?
Is his production happening fast enough too? I mean, like, he's got enough stables, sure. He's finally getting his farm count up there, 42 farmers.
Yep.
Ideally, you want more for Hussar spam. But the Cav Archers are just coming out so slowly.
Oh, bombard cannon down for Villese. That's a huge loss for him. As Slam has somehow held on to this hill. He's gotten more than enough gold for CA long term. I think he just needs to raid. Like, you should not see the defensive player raiding with KotD4. That should be Slam doing it.
Yep. He's killing a lot of villagers down there too.
You know what really...
Slam at 111 villagers. He needs to make some more. And he's got more queued up. That's a good sign. Okay.
What really sucks in Villese's position is Slam tries to save this treb. Will he save it?
No.
He doesn't. What really sucks is that he really wants a castle by the wood in the south. And he doesn't want to do that because he was just getting his castles pushed. He might do that now.
He's raiding now. He's raiding the wood line from Villese now with Hussar.
There we go. It's wide open, Dave. It's wide open. It's been wide open for a long time. Parthian tactics coming in for Slam. He probably had that queued up behind 15 cav archers, which is why we just saw it. But he does get it, and he's going to take out the bombard cannon. And this could be the beginning of the end for Villese.
This wood eco is disgusting. Look at these villagers. They're struggling to drop off. Slam has Hussar all over the place. Villese has lost so many vills in the last minute. He's down to 110. Even if he gets Flemish right now, he's not going to have that many Flemish militia.
Yep.
As Slam continues to go in with the Hussar to the bottom corner. I mean, the gold eco for Villese, sure, he's getting some from farms, but he has 0 villagers on gold right now, and it's just not enough to sustain the production that he needs. Meanwhile, Slam has access at the north to gold, slowly running out there, going for more outposts, still being raided in the south a little bit, but only 2 villagers chopping wood there, so not the huge raid that Villese needs.
You see what that changed, though, with Valese's push in the middle?
Yep.
He had to pull so much army to respect the raid. It's Slam now, if he wants to, could add more trebs, and he's doing that. So that's just perfect from Slam. Maybe a little later than we would have wanted it. As now Villese gets completely caught off guard. He thinks the CA are going to be back in the middle, but they're on the wood and the stone now.
Yep.
I don't think you have a counter to cav archers if you're Villese right now.
I think what Valese's win condition right now is to chip away at Slam's army, wait till he runs out of gold, and then get Flemish Revolution.
But it's like, I forget the cost, but I don't know if he's going to have the resources to get the revolution. He does get gold income from his farms, but guy is losing so much eco. He is making his own hussars. Now, they're hussars that are worse than the...
Oh, the trebs are alone at the north from Slam. But still, he'll be able to defend.
Yeah, he'll actually be okay. Castle Fire is OP. And Villese might lose that castle there. So Slam's fine. He's just got to swing some hussars over to protect his cav archers, and it's just a repeat of every fight.
This is a crazy game, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely crazy game.
Hussars getting through into Slam's base. Slam does have a lot of farms back there, but Slam has Hussars in Valese's base. And there's plenty of farms there as well. And now
Castle
the cav
down
archers.
too.
Yep. Yeah, the trebs will stay up. I think Slam could take this, Dave. Despite the population, I think Slam could take this. Villese has made him work for this so hard.
God, it is so ugly, this side of Valese's economy.
Yeah, I know.
There's halberdiers, there's villagers, there's skirmishers, some
Coustier.
Some custard, okay.
Some custard, yeah, let's go. Oh, God. Well, Blast Furnace
cav
coming
archers in the back of Valese's base. This is really bad. The Hussar were bad enough. You can clear that up with just halberdiers, but with cav archers back here, really tough to clean that.
Mm-hmm. Someone just said the 3 archer ranges were also without conscription. I didn't pick up on that.
Oh,
but
God.
Thankfully, I mean, is he past 3 at this point, or is he still on? He
probably
Oh, no,
doesn't-
he made more. He made more in the north. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, good. He's probably doesn't have sultans either.
Yeah,
gold
not
income.
sure about that one. Dave, I just keep looking at the resources for Villese, because this is getting to a point where if you're ever going to do the revolution, it's got to come soon, I think.
Yep.
And in case people don't know what that is, that will convert all of your villagers into Flemish militia, which is military. So if it were to happen right now, there would be 190 military for Villese.
I like this switch here from Slam. He's got the trebs over on the side, and he pulls all his army back to protect those.
Yep.
If these castles go down at the front, it's much easier for him to push in, and he can force a fight here for Villese, who needs to save that castle, and there's no way he can fight against this many cav archers. That is insane. That is 64 cav archers on the field right now from Slam.
Yeah, Slam just switching perfectly. He even saves the trebs. And villagers coming forward to repair that. If Slam can take this castle out, that's just one more castle he's taken care of so he can raid. He saves the treb again, Dave. And the castle does fall. And this might be the end for Villese. And this might be the victory for Slam, who's getting raided right now by Hussars. So Slam has to be careful. He could lose those cav archers. What a crazy game this is. Come on, Villese. Take out those trebs, man.
He's
so
saving
close.
the trebs.
There you
Okay,
go.
Villese killed one. Slam's still pushing in. Absolutely insane.
Look at the KD, though, Dave. 530 kills for Slam. 380 units lost. The castle positions, they're maybe not perfect, but they are ideal across the center of the map.
Slam also almost has enough for another castle, too.
He just needs to raid in the south. He just needs to constantly shift focus. There's 57 villagers there. There's 10 hussars there, and that's what finally puts the final nail in Villese's coffin.
I mean, he's responding to the raids from Villese with hussars of his own, but now he's run out of hussars in front of his cav archers. Still, he's going to take that castle down, likely.
Yeah.
I don't think Villese... Well, he has enough stone to repair that and make another one.
He might want to make a castle in the
gonna
south
save it.
now. He might just place a castle near where all those new farms are.
Yep. Slam's there, though.
Yeah. Slam's there with the hussars, and this should be it, Dave. I mean, it feels like Villese is going to fight on a little bit longer, but when he... Well, okay, Slam loses the trebs. We'll see how much that matters. You just
Villese
need wood
house, too.
to make halbs. Yeah. The guy will have no wood. He's out of wood in the back. You can't make halbs and skirms without wood. This is his only wood line.
Yep.
Sick. It's just crazy to me that we got to the point where, you know, was wood control. I guess Villese was stuck in the corner for so long. He never was able to expand to the north. I think Slam will finish this. But would you say that Villese is going to leave this game even if he loses with a bit of confidence because of how long it's taken Slam to kill him off?
I don't know, dude, because, like, with that start that you had as Burgundians, you should have been in a better position in the Castle Age, right?
Maybe. Yeah, true. Slam, just constant pressure, man. Constant. And for the first time, he's brought the CA back to the farming eco. And normally what this does is this allows an opportunity for Villese to push the middle, but he can't because there's castles. So he doesn't have siege. They're just more reacting.
And even if he gets Flemish right now, I mean, it's 81 bills, right? He's got 20 in the queue.
Yeah. And I don't think that's enough. You always need some siege to push castles if you're getting Flemish Revolution. Slam is at 78 farms, Dave. So if the game is slowed down, it is because he went from 40 farms to 78 farms really freaking quick. So now he could just spam more hussars.
He's still defending. He's trying to raid with his own hussar. Slam now teching into skirmisher. So he's going into all the techs for trash.
Yep.
Late game. Already has the range upgrade, so it's an easy transition from him.
Oh, man.
He's got
clear
hussars versus skirmisher at the back. That big cav archer army is still there. Villese now sending back halberdiers. The fight from Villese is insane here.
I know.
I mean, the fact he's able to hold on with basically like no wood access whatsoever is incredible.
I'm with you, man. And maybe it's vineyards. Maybe he's thinking that he's going to have more gold long term. But it's always a question of how do you even spend your gold? You don't have a unit that excites me too much. Yeah, I think...
God, this is ugly at the
Yeah,
south
this has got to be it. He's at 70 vills, Dave. You cannot reboom from 70 villagers against 130 when you do not have any defensive castles. There's just no way. He calls it. Slam had 289 hussars in that game. That was the most created unit. 234 skirmishers for Villese. Which, like... You would think the game would have ended a lot faster with that being the stats, but holy moly, that was a great game. Slam needed that one, dude, because it was like, there were a few moments there where it looked like he was going to throw his position, and he finally figured it out.
Imagine how much quicker that game's over if Slam sends either more villagers forward for that castle or just puts the first castle on the hill in the middle.
I agree. Yeah, I think he made it harder for himself. With the way that game was shaping up, defensive castles and just raiding the sides is how you win it. And he tried to throw everything into the middle, into the meat grinder, and it was awkward. But in the end, Slam had more wood, and he had more gold and more stone, but there was crazy food count for Villese, so he definitely gave himself a shot.
I was actually looking forward to Slam making skirms because I wanted to see how many archer ranges he produced skirms.
Oh, God. Man, like, thank God
So
he won that game. Yeah, thank God he won that game. You know what's really bad, though, is that he's not going to have that moment of, oh, man, why did I lose that game? Because he won?
Yep.
So, like, hopefully the GL guys, I know that they've been, like, hopping into Discord in between games and giving each other tips and talking about drafts and whatnot. Hopefully, like, Tato or Viper or someone's like, yo, you got to make more production buildings next game. Because that was bad.
Look at the KD.
Sick.
Villese just tossing units into Slam, honestly. Great control with his cav archers, too. He never really lost the mass. Like, he would lose one or two here or there, but he never lost that big ball of cav archers, even though he was only producing out of 3 archer ranges.
Yeah, that was a solid game. I think the first game we've had go on that long, and I'd like to see 1 or 2 more late games, but Burgundians just don't really feel Okay, they're with their bonuses, they are a really good late game civ because Burgundian Vineyards is strong. But the units themselves just don't feel all that good because their hussars don't get bloodlines and their skirms lack the final armor. So it gets tricky there.
And the Indian win rate goes up.
And up and up. Stonks, man. I'm all about it. And remember, like, Indians were kind of, some people said it was nerfed when they removed the final armor upgrade for the Civ.
Yeah.
The devs did that. Oops, I got my score wrong. The devs did that because Indians were too dominant in team games, I think. But the cheap Vills combined with Cav Archers and the Hussars just seems too tough to stop for most players. So,
Do you remember when Indians had Arbalest?
dude, don't Indians having Arbalest,
Broken, dude.
Malians getting Halb, like Huskarl Halberdiers. That was another one.
In the beta when Malay had champions.
Yep.
I remember playing the beta of it was Rise of Rajas, right?
Yep.
And making those champions that only cost food, and I was thinking, oh boy, like this is broken.
Yeah, there's been a few. I mean, for the most part, the devs normally end up figuring it out. I just love how we're in a state where we can talk about how balance was different at different times. Because, like, before DE, it was pretty much, well, we're stuck with what we're stuck with. There's not going to be many changes. So I'm pretty pleased with that. And Slam's got to be pleased with his victory there. He's got...
Do you also remember the moment the Koreans had the spotlight where they built their towers faster?
Oh my God. One of the craziest games. Well, first off, I just think back to Battle of Africa when every team was just banning Koreans.
Yeah.
Which was just unprecedented. In a team game tournament, people were banning Koreans. But there's a game, and I'm not trying to, clickbait or sell out any of my videos, but if you haven't ever seen it, maybe Viper uploaded it too. Viper went fast imp into keeps with Koreans back then. He won a game with 27 pop imp Korean keeps. It doesn't even seem like it could be real. And it was against a good player. It was against Song Song. Like, there's been some broken stuff, dude. Some absolutely broken units and bonuses over the years.
Okay, so we have Villese playing as the Berbers and Slam playing as the Tatars. So interesting matchup here. I don't know who really has the advantage. I guess it depends on your transition from feudal to castle, what sort of position you're in.
Oh, and it looks like I have some catching up to do here. I think in most of the situations here, Berbers should absolutely dominate. If the Tatars make Cav Archers, the Berbers have Camel Archers. If the Tatars want to make Knights, Berbers have cheap Camels and cheap Knights. I think where this is won is early castle, where Thumbring kicks in, and then Tatars can use their hill bonuses with all their crossbows. But I remember speaking to Dogao. Granted, it was Empire Wars, but I was speaking to Dogao about his game against Viper at Red Bull, and it was Tatars for Viper, and it was Berbers for Dogao. And Dogao's like, that was the Civ matchup I wanted. Granted, he lost the game. He was like, I made mistakes, but Berbers are the better Civ. So we'll see, Dave. But I think back to my point about Berbers, it does take longer to get to the things I talked about, like Knights and Hussars and Camel Archers. You're not just going to magically have castles around the map.
Yeah, I'm not really thinking late game when I'm thinking these two civs matched up against each other.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Maybe we see another thing like last time. I'm thinking free Thumbring for the Tatars. If they get themselves on a hill and they're going range against melee, feels pretty good for the range player. And do you even need to go into Cav Archers here if you're Tatars? Can you just not play crossbow?
If he makes Cav Archers, I hope he makes more than 3 ranges. That's my only opinion.
Okay.
But typically crossbow, and you're right, in Feudal Age, with having all that extra food on your sheep, which Slam has been able to bring in, that's a bonus right there. That can snowball to victory. So I think I'm caught into that late game mindset because the last game went an hour, but this is unlikely to do the same here, right?
Against Berber, like crossbow monk feels pretty good. And like, is the Berber player ever really gonna mix in genitors?
Yeah, true.
Like, not really.
They will if it's a hotkey misclick. Yeah, I guess what really sucks with Tatars is that they really don't have Halb as an option against a Civ that has very good Cav. They can get Halberdier, but they lack the castle and the imp armor upgrade, which means that most players won't do that. So I think early Castle Age or Feudal Age is where Tatars will have to shine. We have 3 on wood for Villese, and we've had 4 on wood for Slam. So for the first time, I think Slam will not go scouts in this series. You know what's funny about Genitors, though, Dave? I feel like, except for the highest level, they're probably a really busted unit. But this level's... There's such high pressure at all times that no one ever has the time to go for it. But if you think 1800 or below, in this matchup, Genitors could honestly be insane.
Genitor is crazy because the Tatar players rarely going into melee units, right?
Right, exactly.
They're getting the free thumb ring, they're getting crossbow, or they're getting cav archer, and Genitor can outspeed the crossbow and then counter the cav archer too. But it's just there's no if they ever mix in melee units, the Genitors feel really bad, and they're quite expensive too.
Yeah, I think they should be though, because that's a unit that's on the brink where if you buff it at all, it's probably disgusting. And I think Berbers are in a really good spot. So hopefully we don't see any more changes to Genitors. A Slam with a very solid build. This is a 20 pop. Well, could honestly be anything because he hasn't gone to gold yet. I'm a little confused. It'd be very fast for Men-at-Arms. Is he changing his mind right now?
Slam doesn't really do Men-at-Arms.
Yeah, he so does. I know that he loves his scouts, but he definitely does. But I think he's switching into a scout build, so that was not the initial build, that's for sure. Maybe he saw something. I guess he just wants to play defensive with walls for now. I really like the wall off on the side. Same for Villese. Villese's going to go scouts too. Exciting.
Okay. Also must be mentioned that Berbers have faster villagers, so direct eco buff to all of their resource gathering. And Tatars get the extra food on the sheep, which means you go to farms later, and you also get a couple sheep every time you add a TC, so that's quite a nice boost for both civs.
Slam going 1 lumber camp again, which makes me so sad. I don't know why.
What are you talking about?
Oh, he's got... Okay, never mind. He's got 1 lumber camp on each side. What's funny is I actually looked at that part of the screen and still forgot. So he's got 2 lumber camps, and he's going to go for the stable. And the difference is that Slam has not even scouted where Villese is, whereas Villese just confirming there's nothing on gold. He did see the 2 lumber camps, unlike me. I think he has an idea that Slam's going scouts here.
Yep. And stable for Villese. He is walled off only to the edge there, but I mean, it's a decent map to wall off.
Oops,
all
Scout.
things considered.
Scout gets out of here. That's quite a big deal. And if Slam isn't careful, you could always run into a Spearman because the Spearman is coming forward. But I think this is going to be very much like the previous game where they both open up Scouts, and then the player who's not walled yet is not going to take any risks. He's going to make military, but he's just going to protect his villagers as they wall up. Pretty bland right now, Dave, but what this does is it takes us closer to where these civs really shine. Free thumb ring, the potential for crossbow, cav archer for Tatars, and then
cheaper stables,
cheaper stable units. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, both. When you think about them, you're thinking about their castle age compositions, not really late game or anything like that.
Okay, hear me out. This probably will never happen, but I can dream. If this goes late, camel archers and camels for Villese, and Slam goes for cav archers, hussars, and flaming camels.
And then flaming see, we're on the same
wavelength. Yeah, right? Do you remember that one game from Red Bull, Leary versus MBL, and it was Leary with Tatars and MBL going elephant archers? Yes. Someone, I think his name is Colin AOC, to give him credit.
It was Colin.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he made a video. It was basically, what if Leary would have gone for flaming camels? And he determined that the flaming camels would have wrecked those elephants. So I don't get too excited, viewers, but would be cool to see some flaming camels.
I was not aware of how much bonus damage they do against cavalry. It's insane.
Yeah, it's so nuts. And I think we should see it more, but it just takes one high-level player to do it in a competitive scenario to shift their thinking. And it is very situational, so... Good
All right,
fights
well,
here for
Slam
Slam.
takes a few good hits. He's Tatars, so he's going to get a little bit of extra bonus damage down the hill. He's going to find this wall from Villese, and Villese has wisely just kept his scouts back. He knew Slam was fully walled, so he's going to keep his scouts in defense until his walls are up, and then he'll go out looking for damage.
I'd have to analyze this at a deeper level, but I feel like if this were me in Veleza's position, those palisade walls on the other side would be hit by scouts right now, and the scouts would come in. The fact that I guess he tracked the army was here, so he knew he'd be fine. But he was pretty open, and yet he ends up not overmaking scouts, which is a risk, making the same amount of Slam. He's perfectly fine to defend, even taking the zebra behind his walls, so pretty close game.
All right, well, one spearman coming back from Villese is going to send his scouts too. Well, we've got ourselves another classic Open Arabia matchup here, Tristan. Walls for both players. Wheelbarrow already in from Slam. No wheelbarrow from Villese. And Slam looks to be clicking up first, I believe.
Very weird, and maybe this is just because we have nothing else to talk about, but kind of weird that he went for wheelbarrow when he only has 8 farms.
Yep.
I feel like wheelbarrow with 8 farms is not worth it. It's probably better to just keep creating vills, but he's going to add the range now.
He's thinking like, well, his vills are fast. Mine needs to be fast
Yeah.
too.
Well, I think he's used to the timing of it with a civ like Huns, but with Huns you transition onto farms faster, and you're not on the sheep, so maybe that was it. But yeah, we have the both players very even here in how they've been playing it. We are going to see Villese click up, and I think what he'd like to do is spot the range, but there's a good chance he expects this as well. But I think that even though this game hasn't been like, oh, feudal age aggression, raw, everything's open, I think it's really important to note we've had 5 wall nerfs over the last 2 years, and I think walling is a really important part of Age of Empires. We get Dark Age bonuses, feudal bonuses, castle imp, the build-up, and all the small technical little details that go into where they're at right now is really important. So I actually don't mind it. If every game was like this, then I would mind it, but this is fine for me.
Yeah, I mean, when you wall, it means there's more options strategically.
Yeah.
If every single game is open, then you're just playing a build.
Then it's
every
Empire
single
Wars.
time.
Yeah.
It becomes more like a little bit more like StarCraft, where you get punished for lack of execution.
Yeah.
Easier, right?
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, the really good players, not all, but some really good players are talking about walls a lot, and I'm always thinking, well, if I was you, I would also not want people to wall because I could just destroy everyone like StarCraft. It's part of the game, and it's cool to see both players have adapted here. As we see armor now for Villese, and he's going to go 2 stable, Dave. Pretty standard stuff.
And 3 archer range from Slam. So we're probably going to see cav archers here. You wouldn't make 3 archer ranges just for crossbows. And he's in the castle age, and immediate cav archers for Slam. Immediate bodkin and bow saw. Also has saved his 200 stone. Did not make a market, so he can't drop TCs at any point. And he's got a he's got a full wood line at the back of his base and another one at the top that he can take. So he'll be safe for quite a while.
Yeah, I'd say the concern for Slam is the long-term gold. Both of his 4-tile golds are beyond his walls, whereas Villese, and he got to be a little choosy with his walls maybe because of when he did it, he's got that other gold in the back, which will be huge. Also a very safe back stone. I guess Slam does as well, but Slam probably not needing to go to stone with the Tatars.
Scorpion's already coming out from Villese.
Really?
So he wants those in defense, I guess.
That's interesting, because some players will go Knight Camel, but mixing in Scorpions with your stable units is also a play. I just wasn't expecting him to do it with the TCs at the same time. Like, that is... Surely he's not going to be able to afford villager production and knight production right away here. That's a lot.
It's Villese. He'll probably manage.
Yeah, maybe. He managed so well in game 1, so... But game 2, he also went to the TCs too early, in my opinion, and kind of lost some map control here, Dave, so he's going to have to be careful.
That's an unfortunate TC spot for Villese, but forced into that by the hills.
Yep.
His third TC over there on the right. You hate to see it.
And now he's going for some houses.
TC it.
Haha, Dave's hilarious. And the houses are buying a bit of time here for the army to loop around, but Slam expects it. Slam backs away to the hill. I think he's going to end up running away. Oh, he could use the scouts against the Scorpion, though. Nice
and the
play from
Scorpion
Slam.
will go down, so he's getting value out of those units that probably wouldn't have found much value at all. And so is Villese as he goes to trap the
No
Cav
way!
Archers.
Slam is to take out the scouts. He's still trapped. Okay, that was sick. That was so sick. I love that. Wow, dude. What's funny is certain units will not fill up a tile. I saw,
No, they will. You just need to get the right angle, and you need to stop them if they're moving at all.
But I think Spearmen and Eagles, for example, like a lot of infantry don't necessarily fill that gap in the same way. I've seen players try that, but Villese with 3 scouts, perfect. I didn't catch how many kills he got there, but I think he got 2 and now a 3rd in total.
Yeah, that was a nice little block there. Okay, so 3 TCs for Villese, and he went Camel, Knight, and Scorpion.
Yeah.
He's going to have more villagers than Slam, and Slam is only on 2 TCs, and he's housed now, so he needs to get some of those. Going for a university, so very similar style to the previous game with Villese, more of a boomy approach.
Yep.
Military to defend, and Slam going into Cav Archers to try and punish the boom.
I do like the numbers for Slam, though. Eventually, Villese is going to want to get additional upgrades. But I guess he does have +2 armor, so it's not too bad. He's just able, because he doesn't spend as much on the camels, he's able to afford it. But as I say that, camels melting.
Free thumb ring is so good for Cav Archers.
Sick.
God.
And
the hill, too.
I'd love to see Slam. You know what? I'm not sure what I'd like to see from Slam now, because there's 3 Scorpions. I was just going to say I'd love to see him go to the other side with Cav Archers, because the wood's exposed. But as for how to deal with that many Scorpions, it's a little iffy if they're just sitting behind the walls.
I like this from Slam. Repairing the wall in the north. Villese was trying to get in. He's going to clear up one knight. He's going to push away that other knight. They could wreak havoc in his base if they got in. He'd be constantly responding to those. So great stuff there. You can bring those Cav Archers forward. And there's an overchop, it looks like, from Villese. Slam might be able to get in here. Villese is going to add a house and has the Scorpions behind. So should be able to defend for the time being.
8 on stone for Villese, Dave.
Yep.
So
Camel
he's
Archers,
definitely going to try Camel Archers. However, I think you need to make sure you don't just switch into Camel Archers without making anything else. You definitely need to have a little bit more camel support. Don't want to give up full map control and be building a castle with no military, because you probably want to have 8 to 10 camels as you're making the Camel Archers, because you don't have fletching yet. You don't have all the crucial upgrades they'll need.
And Slam denied that villager from making that house. So once this wall is down, he can in fact go in. The Scorpions are there though, and the camels are here too from Villese. And as soon as he gets in the Camel Archers, these Cav Archers feel really underwhelming.
Should we be surprised that Slam is just now adding the 3rd TC? I feel like this is very late.
Yep.
Like, look at how many resources he has right now. I guess he's been focusing on the micro, and he's been doing a good job with the micros. He's going to hit the other wood line now, Dave. So Villese has to react there.
Has ballistics too. Villese, it seems like he just made the perfect amount of camels.
Yeah.
You know, and the perfect amount of Scorpions. He's lost 3 villagers to this, but he's ahead by 11. He has 3 TCs versus 2. And he's got 2 more Scorpions in defense on the left, 2 Scorpions in defense on the right, just enough camels to get by. And he's going to add the castle, and that's going to be out on that hill.
Man,
and Slam
dude.
is going to find this. That is risky, dude.
He can't, like, his army's fine right now, but it doesn't mean Villese can move out of his base. It's good behind walls. It is not good outside of the walls. And he now shows his hand. The castle's at 25%. So if he bails on that, he does lose some of his stone. And Slam says, okay, you're on the left. I'm going to go back to the right. And there's a hole here, and he can take out the Scorpions. Oh, my goodness.
Bunch of weak Cav Archers needs to try to not get hit again, and he does in that choke point. He's going to have to retreat. We'll try and take out some of the camels, but a lot of those Cav Archers are weak. He cannot take hits there. Villese coming over with more camels to try and get this castle foundation up. He's sending out more villagers, but more Cav Archers are on the way from Slam. I think he can deny this for a very long time if he meets up with all of his units.
It's going to be so close because Slam has to choose right here. If he chooses to take Villes, he loses army. So you have to choose to take army first. And it does feel like while the losses will be kind of high for Villese, he's still going to get the castle up, Dave. Slam realizing that, Slam backing away. And I think Villese needs to get the other castle up on the other side quickly, because these camels will disappear if he stays here.
Yeah, and the camels are going down. They can't really fight against these cav archers with ballistics and thumb ring. Only an 11 villager lead for Villese. Still no wheelbarrow for him.
And
He is Berbers, though, so his villagers do move faster.
And he still has to get Fletching and Bodkin, and he still has the Mass Camel Archer. So I think the transition is just going to take so much time. He is going to castle on the other side, though, because he knows Slam will swing over there. I like that.
Slam losing a lot of HP to these Scorpions. Getting a little bit cocky there with his cav archers, I think.
Slam also macroing. Macro could be better. The micro's good, but then he doesn't have the farm count he might need here. That said, 6-0 KD in this game when it comes to eco, and Slam again dominating with the cav archer aggression. I just don't think that Villese has the military. Slam could honestly run right in.
Yeah, and Slam's on stone now, too, with 9 villagers. So he's thinking about a castle of his own. Should probably go on that left side, too, to maybe secure that gold. Or maybe on the right side to secure the other gold. He's got to start thinking about that right now. House is about to go down. Slam will be in with cav archers. And what does Villese have here in defense? He's got a few camel archers of his own, but no upgrades for these yet. Fletching is just now coming in, and that's not going to be enough against these cav archers.
Castles are so expensive. I think Slam should force the issue. There's times to stay and there's times to leave, but I think that you should consider running through there. If he were to run through, he would have a hill on the other side, which he might not know about, to be fair. But he's just all over the opponent right now. I love this from Slam. And Dave, what I'd like to see is a castle on the left where he's taking gold. Sell your wood and go up to Imp and just treb that castle down.
I know, I agree. And he's definitely got the resources to do it, right? He almost has enough stone.
He's marketing
right
right now.
On that hill.
Yeah.
He sells the wood, gets the gold, sells some food too. He can definitely get away with it. Scorpion will die here from Villese before getting a shot. That would have been such a juicy shot in that choke point. And Slam sells the wood. He's gonna go up to Imperial Age. I think he can get the stone in time to make a castle there and treb that down. And suddenly the camel archer numbers will not look too impressive from Villese with only 1 castle producing.
Yeah, Villese made quite a few camels, but maybe not enough. Or maybe he ventured too far out of his base.
Doesn't have the buildings.
Oh, God, Slam. Come on, buddy.
There's the monastery.
Okay, monastery's up. He's going to drop the castle in the perfect spot. He's learned his lesson from the previous game. Yeah, there it is. I mean, unless Slam loses all of his army, and there's potential for that because a lot of these are weak, I really think that Slam has this in the bag. He will go for Trebs, take out the castles from Berbers, and he'll have cav archers to upgrade an Imp. This is amazing play.
So strange from Villese because he's played so well.
Oh, the TC on the right! The TC on the right! Oh my God!
Yeah, he's played so well this series, saving villagers and whatnot. That's very strange for him. He's engaging now with the camel archers. He has Bodkin now. He has ballistics now. So Slam is going to have to fall back there. And somehow, Villese has kind of limited the damage here. Great play from him to keep this damage at a minimum from the cav archers, although he did lose a lot of vills on the right side.
He's still losing vills there. And he lost a lot of camel archers because he doesn't have upgrades. He doesn't have the armor upgrades that Slam has. He doesn't have thumb ring yet. So yeah, camel archer switched is extremely time intensive. And all Slam needs to do now is keep it up, mass those trebs. Once the castles start to fall, he could just storm in with hussars. The possibilities are endless for the Canadian.
And the reason we've been focusing so much on Slam so far this game is I think both of us felt like Villese had the advantage.
In some ways, definitely.
Yeah, and Slam's managed to drag himself back with the cav archers. He's actually adding a 4th TC on that gold to the south, so he's going to secure that a little bit. Has been sitting on this gold at the front.
This is sick.
From Villese.
Dude, this is so sick. Look, he knows that there's not going to be army on the right now. So he goes in. He's got 3 armies damaging eco at the same time. And if he's not damaging eco, he's damaging the military. This is unbelievable play from Slam. And after game 1, where he got stomped by Villese's perfect macro, Villese just hasn't been able to boom it out. And he calls the GG immediately. Wow. Amazing.
Really good stuff. I felt with Villese's position there, making the camels and having the scorpions, it felt perfect. It felt like a perfect defense. The only thing that went wrong for Villese was placing that castle over on the left and getting kind of delayed with that, right? And then that opened the door for Slam to hit him in like 3 different positions to go into that gold at the front. Imagine if that castle is at the front there. I don't think Slam really has many opportunities to hit Villese.
I think anytime you have a really good unique unit, and you know that unique unit will fare well in certain stages in the
Put
game.
it defensively. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But like, you almost switch to it too early sometimes. Like, I do it with Mongols all the time. I'm just like, all right, let's make some knights and camels, crossbows, and then castles. Then what happens is that normal castle age military, like cav archers or knights, can overwhelm you, and then you're just like stuck. Because he had 2 castles, he almost had the resources to go in, but he never had the time. So I think maybe just put your foot on the gas and make a few more camels. Get regular camels on the field.
Well,
Don't
he was
underproduce.
trying to, tightrope walk it
Yep,
in
exactly.
terms of how much he's making and how much he's investing into his economy. And that's what you have to do when you place the 3 TCs that early.
Yeah,
And he was
true.
doing such a good job with it. I think the castle placement was just a little bit off for him, not defending that main gold. Slam gets in, distracts him, and then hits him with the other things. Look at that eco KD, by the way.
I know, I was looking at it. It's 46-0 at the end. You know, the final thing, because the castle obviously was a little awkward for Villese, but when he ventured out towards the front where that 4-tile stone is with his scorpions, he had like 3 or 4 scorpions. He still had camels, and he didn't have the camel archers yet. So I think with the way this shapes up, honestly, just back up. Slam would
Yep.
not have been able to dive in between the TCs at all if the scorpions, camels, and camel archers were there. So I think slight overextension there from Villese as well. We talked about Slam's mindset and how we think he's improved mentally this year, and this is a sign of it, Dave. He's brought it back. He's up 2-1 now, and he won in a spot where many people would prefer the Berber Civ.
Okay.
Sick.
Going into game number 3. Guess that's fine.
Oh God, what is that wood line in front of Slam's base? That just looks so bad. And then you've got the golds that you can't even town center there. Ugh. Feels like while it is in the front and you could use it as a wall, it's just gonna make life so awkward for him at some stage.
Yeah, I mean, at least he has a nice little lake there that he can set up a cottage property on,
That's true.
potentially.
So you either choose the wood line that you can't really run around, so like 1 tower could deny it. Not that we'll see that, or some archers. Not that we'll see that. Or you have the backwood line with a pond that doesn't even have a shorefish, which is just a complete scam. But
Okay.
this is the map gen we don't like, Dave. This is the weird one where the wood lines are super close together.
Yep.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this matchup is super unexciting in Dark Age, so I don't know what to talk about.
Well, I mean, Villese's map looks pretty good. He's got the back gold. He's got a bunch of wood lines to take. His berries are even at the back. Even though they're on the hill, it still looks decent for him. I think he should be able to wall up and just play Sicilian. Do you play archers here? Like archer spearmen in Feudal? I think one range defense, you can get away with it.
Yeah, potentially. I think the tricky thing I've seen in this tourney is that if you're going archer spear against a scout player, their foodie the scout player's food eco is so good, and then they just transition that towards skirms. You don't have to worry about skirms as much though if you're Sicilian, so I don't know if that factors into maybe going archer play. Very little laming in this series. I think I recall one instance where someone lost goats, but we haven't really seen either player taking risks at trying to steal any boars.
Not really
or
their
anything.
style, right?
Yeah.
Wait till Villese, if he wins this game, wait till he has Aztecs. And
Yep,
then we'll...
true. Yeah, that's the one that's kind of looming in the back of Slam's mind here. This is the game he's going to want to win. He does have Japanese and I think Vietnamese, so I think it would probably be Japanese versus Aztecs for a game 5, which I guess isn't the worst for Japanese, but probably not the best either.
Wait, someone's looming?
What? They have gold.
Never mind.
Oh, looming. Okay, I gotcha. Sorry. I'm a little slow today. Sorry.
It's getting
man.
late in the day. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We've been live for 6.5 hours.
Well, like I said, there's just not like this matchup doesn't excite you right now, and the maps are also pretty bland. I mean, they are fair in that the golds and the berries are kind of on the backside, but yeah, just both players pushing deer. I just can't wait to see Slam try and figure out the whole walling situation here. It's very awkward to have so much wood on the front and then so little on the back. He'll do it, but it's just like, ugh, I hate it.
I mean, if he walls to the edge of the map, a long wall in front of his gold, then he can take that wood at the very back of his base. He'll probably get to Castle Age safely, knowing these 2 civs. and like the base layout.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably just going to be another wall up in Castle Age game. We've already seen the last two be like that, and Villese lost the last two
Yeah,
that
true.
were like that. So
Well, what's funny is Slam kind of learned his lesson in game 1. If you watched game 1, it was just all in aggression without a lot of walling, and then he probably went to the drawing board and said, well, it looks like this guy's going to beat us if he walls like that, so... But yeah, these guys are so predictable at this point. There will be more games today where we're just going to be like, well, this person has to scout, this person has to figure this or that out, but not this set. What is the final set, by the way?
the final set is Nikov Dogao.
Ooh, sick.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll probably have Dogao play a little more defensive there, and Nikov a bit more aggressive. But that should be a good one, man. That's like the El Clasico for people down south, you know? Dogao and Nikov, the best player in Brazil versus the best player from Argentina. What would the El Clasico look like for the Canada versus US be, Dave? Daniel versus Hera?
That's not an El Clasico. That's an El Stomp.
Hey, come on, man. Daniel looks good against Leary.
No,
but...
I'm not talking about Daniel in particular. I'm talking about USA versus Canada in terms of Age of Empires 2.
How would that go? Let's see. You guys have Hera. You have
Chris.
Slam.
And
then you have Chris. I feel like if you were to do...
You could mix in Mentalist there, too.
Nah, he's retired. Yeah, I wonder if we were to get like the top 6 Canadians and then the top 6 Americans, and then 1 faces 1, 2 faces 2, 3 faces 3, what that would look like. I feel like it'd be even because we have more like solid high-level players in Canada, but obviously we don't have the peak. It's not even close.
So you'd lose the first 3, and then the 4th one would still be a decent matchup, I think. And then the 5th one would be like what? It would be
well, I would be up against Chris, I think, right? Which I'd probably lose. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be 3-3 though. I think the top 3 Canadians would be the top 3 Americans, and then the 3-6 Americans would be the Canadians. And this is a horrible show match idea, so before people were like, oh, we gotta do it, I don't think that'd actually be that entertaining.
Imagine bragging about winning the 4th, 5th, and 6th place matches.
We have to take what we can get, okay? At least we were able to beat Canada in curling. That's like U.S. beating Canada in curling in the Olympics.
I've been watching that U.S. I'm a curling fan. I've been watching that U.S. gold medal team lose to everybody, lose to absolutely terrible teams for the last 20 years. They've managed to win one event
against Canada in the Olympics, and I don't even watch it. I just saw when I was looking at the Olympic results, I just saw that we beat Canada, and I've just been bringing it up ever since.
This is our most dysfunctional team we've ever sent to the Olympics.
I'm sorry to bring it up, man. I'm not, but I'm sorry to bring it up.
Our team from the Northwest Territories could beat your U.S. team. And they have 30,000 people living up there.
I just feel like it's a success that you already are tilted by this conversation, because I don't care at all. Like, oh God, we lost in curling. Oh man, curling's fun to watch when you're drunk. I will say that. It gets a lot more interesting. Yeah,
I love it.
Wait, you consider it a sport?
Of course it's a sport, dude. If darts is a sport, then you bet your ass curling's a sport.
I guess it's in the Olympics. So all right. Anyways,
have you seen? You just don't think it's a sport because the U.S. Olympic team looks like a bunch of dads that just got home from church. But have you seen the actual like professional curling teams?
Bro,
they're buff,
I've watched curling, and majority of them look like they're dads who just got home from church. They do not look like athletes.
You're watching U.S. curling, dude. You're watching U.S. curling. You're not watching Canadian curling.
Yeah. Oh, bro, I'm gonna go to the gym and lift weights. What are you training for? Curling. So I can sweep the ice one millisecond faster. That's the biggest load of baloney I've ever heard in my life. By the way,
you're insulting everyone in the cleaning profession right now.
Do we have
serious cardio, bro?
Do we have a high percentage of cleaning people watching our content right now? Because I would guess that we probably don't. But anyways, back to the game. We knew that this would be another scout and wall game. The only difference here is that Slam went for egg walls, or whatever this is shaped like, which I don't really like. I think that if he would have walled in front of the gold, his position would be a little better. He's adding skirms? Why did
It's
he
really
just...
weird.
That's odd to me. I think he's adding skirms for the scouts, but I think he's overmaking army.
What has he seen? He's seen the walls from Villese.
That's it.
Villese. But like, he sees walls, scouts, and spearmen. You should be able to defend this. I guess the skirms are fine if you see the spearmen.
Yeah,
count.
the only concern is just how much food you're spending. Like, that's a win
Yeah.
for Villese, right? That you're spending that much. But this is the weakness of Khmer because Khmer typically don't add the barracks. If it was any other civ, Slam would just add his own spears and then he would match it. But I think Villese will run home. I think he'll just be happy to see that Slam had to go for a range and also for skirms. And this is definitely going to be a switch towards Castle Age. There's no doubt in my mind. But, like, just to be clear here for anyone who's learning the game out there, going scouts into skirms is normally never a play against someone going scouts because they have scouts out there. So scouts archers make sense. You would want to go scout skirm against someone who's going into archers. So I just don't want any poor soul out there to be like, well, I saw Slam do it.
Slam is adding more scouts.
That's okay. I mean, he's in a rough spot because he's not walled. So Villese can under or overmake army here, and he's going to be completely fine.
I guess this just has to be light cav upgrade once you get to Castle Age for Slam too.
Maybe. I mean, if he can clear the spears and then have full map control with the scouts, it's not going to be looking too bad here.
He's actually getting wheelbarrow too, Slam, with Khmer.
Dude, it's his timing, dude.
Interesting.
He's played so many scout openings, and he gets wheel. He got it with the Tars in the other game at a time, which is probably a little questionable. Don't necessarily benefit from it as much with Khmer, because wheelbarrow benefits the farmers, and they don't need to really walk around.
Villese almost got bloodlines too, and he canceled it.
Just look at the difference of food right now, and we have bloodlines for Slam. So weird to me to see him getting bloodlines when the opponent is fully walled. I just don't get
there's
that.
no possibility of him getting in anywhere.
Yeah.
Not quickly, anyway.
So you make a range, which could have been 3 farms. You make additional scouts. Now you get bloodlines. You're not... You left your base, so you're not even fully walled.
And up, and you're not even...
Yeah, it's just really weird. I don't really agree with it for Slam here.
He's also got to keep his scouts right nearby his skirms. This is the weakness you were talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he ever gets too far away, Villese can just dive on that. Whereas Slam is going to have trouble diving on the spearmen. And Slam's still avoiding the spearmen. At this point, like, just yeet your scouts in there. You have bloodlines, at least win something in Feudal Age. And then get some map presence, right? Start pressuring Villese a little bit. But instead, Slam is just kind of dancing around, trying to pick at these spearmen. He's going to be up soon, but Villese is probably going to be a minute and a half faster than him, if not 2 minutes.
And then you
faster
just
than him to Castle
go
Age.
into Knights. Just feel like the approach from Slam, I think it was out of fear here.
Going to be Cav Archers again from Slam, by the way.
No way. Is this spring? Like, is this... Who is this player? Cav Archers with Khmer? I don't know about that one, man. He still hasn't clicked up here. This is such a late Castle Age with Khmer.
Well, you know, he might buy himself a lot of time with these scouts still on the field.
It's true.
He might buy himself the time to get up to the next stage. He's going 3 ranges here. Cav Archer with Khmer. He's managed to wall himself in front of that gold, so it's going to be really hard for Villese to hit him. And, I mean, if the Cav Archer formula has worked 2 games in a row, why can't it work for a 3rd game?
Because he's Khmer. I mean, we'll see. I think the key here for Villese is boom, because he's done that before, and he's done that well, but do not give up army control. Being 2 minutes faster is going to give him the map control this time. I'm just wondering if he wants his second TC to maybe be outside of his walls, because I just don't know where you'd place it. Both the golds are awkward.
Villese has read this wrong, I think. He's gone for Monastery.
Okay. Well, Slam doesn't even have fletching on the skirms, so why? I don't see why Villese should ever assume that there's going to be Cav Archers, so I guess it's like 300 IQ from Slam. Wait, does he not have a blacksmith yet? Let me guess. No black. Oh, he has.
He does have a blacksmith, yeah.
All right. I've forgotten my blacksmith with Khmer one too many times, and then I go to get my upgrades in Castle, and I'm like, oh god. But yeah, scouts don't have a chance here, Dave. Second TC will be up in no time for Villese. He is going to add some monks.
I mean, his teammate did make Frank Cav Archers, so
True.
they've got to be better than that, right?
Yeah, they get bloodlines. Trying to think.
They
Don't get thumb
ring, I
ring,
don't
which
think.
is kind of like the big one with cav archers. If you don't get thumb ring, it just doesn't feel very strong.
Yeah, and Villese's going to see that these scouts still don't have armor upgrades. But he didn't see any upgrades on the he didn't see any upgrades on the skirmishers either.
Yeah, that's just gonna be so confused. Slam arrives to Castle Age with the resources to almost go imp, which he obviously won't do. He's got to invest into castle here. He was a little late on fletching. He's just adding more houses. All this is fine.
6 cav archers already. Oh my! Look at that res, Tristan.
It's nuts, man.
Holy!
But he has to make sure he invests the res wisely here. I think getting the wood upgrade, getting the gold upgrade, all that's going to be important here.
You get the light cav upgrade?
Nah. I would say the biggest thing the scout army does is it could deny relics and just distract the knights like he's doing. But I think Villese will know now. He hasn't seen the cav archers, but he also doesn't see any upgrades on the scouts. So I think he should assume there's going to be some cav archers.
Okay. Scouts are still running away. Slam building up his cav archer numbers in the back. Villese has to suspect, but he's still kind of in the dark because he hasn't spotted any of that stuff going on. Slam might actually spot this monk coming back with the relic. He does, but he's not going to engage against that. Run away, and Villese will have 3 TCs, and the eco for Villese, the build for Villese has been far smoother than that of Slam so far.
Yeah, Slam's got to go for ballistics yet, so he can't add the TC. And, well, now, if Villese didn't know, he knows. And I think he knew ahead of time, Dave. He was already getting elite skirm, already getting fletching. And I love that 3rd TC because it puts him onto stone. If Sicilians are ever in trouble, they can just drop a castle lightning quick. So,
yep.
Also love how Slam left a scout on the left. It's very possible he could kill a monk at some point. So that's a nice little touch from him.
Yeah, that was a good play. Scouts are also alive, too. He managed to save those, so he can move those over to the other side. Villese now going for more archer ranges. Everything has looked so clean for him in the early game of this set. And basically every single game has looked really, really clean. And Slam has only managed to come back due to damage in the Castle Age. So we'll see if he can get it again. Armor upgrade is coming from Slam right now.
Yeah, I guess he might want to mix in a knight or two against the skirms, which isn't bad logic. I think it's just an awkward spot. Like, he's floating food, but he doesn't actually have a lot of food income, so that will probably disappear faster than he realizes. Whereas you look at Villese, and it's just plenty of farms, plenty of gold miners, plenty of stone, and he's continuing to send villas to stone, so 13 villager lead for him right now. Relic number 2 on the way for Villese, so sitting pretty behind his eco, Dave. I just think he shouldn't overextend right now. I don't know if he needs to move out. If he stays at home, I think drops a castle, he could be okay.
Sorry, I just had to ban someone in my chat.
Yeah?
It's very rare. You have to say something pretty bad to get banned in my chat.
I banned someone earlier. Actually, my mods did. But, all right, monks are going down. And, you know, there's still no Bodkin arrow yet for Villese, so just another reason to stay at home. It feels a little underwhelming for how good his eco is, Dave. He's got so little army here. Slam's got 35 army.
Yep. Villese has been struggling against the cav archers every game we've seen them from Slam.
Yeah, true.
And now these skirmishers are going to sit on that little, I think that's a hill there.
Yeah,
it's going to sit on the elevation with the knights in front, going to be able to pick off these cav archers. Ballistics is coming in now from Villese, which is such a good upgrade here against cav archer. But the numbers of cav archers from Slam, he's got 27 now.
So interesting how he just stays on the hill. Like I would have run so long ago if I were Villese. He didn't even have the armor, Dave.
Yep.
But I think he just wants to drop his castle here. I'm curious if he'll go for the hill. The hill might be a little risky, but with Sicilians, it might be worth it.
I mean, it gets up so quickly, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think you can just put it at the front here, and even if Slam YOLOs to try and kill your villagers, he might kill 4 or 5, but the castle's going up anyway, and he's losing cav archer numbers.
Yeah.
Slam is now going for a second TC on that gold. He's going to keep fighting here at the front, and this is what Villese wants, to be honest. He knows he has the superior eco behind it.
Yep.
Just keep Slam busy at the front side here, and he's going to actually grab that relic and bring it in.
The fact he hasn't committed to his castle yet tells me that he wants it somewhere more aggressive, and There he goes.
There
As
it
we
is.
say that, he's going to send the villagers there. There are 2 cav archers there, which I think Slam has forgotten about. But
And I think Slam could go and kill these villas with the cav archers right now.
I don't know. It's at 25% already. The Sicilian castles build so quick. Any other civ, this is a dumb idea. With Sicilians, it's at 60%. And okay, he does back away.
He can deny it for a bit, but he got his knight converted.
Yeah.
So that won't be able to distract the skirmishers. Slam is still engaging against these skirms. No +2 armor yet for the skirms. So the cav archers are still doing decent damage to them. And he's going to camp that castle. And even with Sicilians, Villese not able to get that up. Slam now adding a 3rd TC behind this.
Slam's got 8 farms, dude. He can't make knights and villagers right now. It's kind of the problem we alluded to earlier. His eco is a disaster area. So he can let this castle go up. Being behind by 17 vills, I think he could never let this castle go up to have a chance.
Yep. And he's going to dive in here. I think Villese has played this really, really well, though. The skirm upgrades came in at the perfect time. Ballistics came in at the perfect time. He's got good conversions here with the monks. The knights aren't really getting damaged. Slam is trying to micro within minimum range, but the cav archer army is basically depleted. Slam's sending more forward, but it's so cheap for Villese to just add more skirms behind.
Yep. Just don't really think Slam made the proper decisions in Feudal Age, and it snowballed on him. And if you think of Game 1 as well, Villese outplayed him in Feudal Age. Slam has done great in Castle Age with pressure.
Yep.
But
opening's a bit better for Villese, though.
Exactly.
For sure.
2 minutes behind where he needed to be. You don't even need to question the CA move as much as you have to question the scouts and the skirmishers. Obviously, the skirms have done nothing. The castle's now up. We have more stables for Villese. He's got incredible eco. He's even going for a 4th TC, Dave. So,
will we see it?
What, the First Crusade?
The Crusade, yes.
Nah, I think he's going to save up for... Now, this I don't know how to say. I think it's Halberg? Albert?
Albert.
Is that... That sounded convincing. I'm going to go with that. That sounded very convincing to an American who has very little knowledge of other languages. But I just don't see what Slam could do here. He should try, and he is going to come forward. You know, that castle would shake things up if it goes up. Here he comes.
Oh, it would certainly shake and bake, but I don't know. I think it can shake. I don't think it can bake.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, it all depends on whether Villese gets a good conversion here.
Villese is just going to buy, if he sees this and there's any question on if this is going to go up for Slam, he will buy 300 stone and he will drop his own castle right next to it.
Yep.
Or he'll just go imp, actually.
I think you just go
or you deny it. You've got a lot of options here. Yeah,
like I said, it can definitely shake, but can it bake?
Shake and bake. Casual monk just walking by. He decides to get a conversion as well. I don't know, man. Like, I guess he's so far ahead it doesn't really matter. But I would have said just make your own castle. Oh, now he's going to do it. He's going to do it so much later than I thought. He deleted his building, and there he goes.
It doesn't matter, though. It's Sicilians. He's got that many villagers building it. It's definitely going up, even if Slams goes up.
Yeah, true.
Villese is still trying to deny the castle with his knight.
Is this
and
baking?
This percentage just flies up.
Is this, you said shake and bake. Does this count as baking? Because it went up.
No.
I feel like this isn't a bake. I feel like this is a broil or something.
There's literally nothing in the oven right now.
Yeah, exactly. This is nothing to eat here. I don't know, man. I appreciate Slam's attempt there, but unfortunately this whole game has just been... all the issues he's had has just stemmed from early mistakes, and it makes me think about Aztecs being on the draft.
Villese has played the defense perfect, honestly.
So
he just invested enough into skirmishers, got the upgrades right on time, depleted the army. There is a hole at the back there. So Slam is going to be in, but there's more skirmishers here from Villese. He's got enough villagers to sustain some damage, and he's going to take this castle down once he's in Imperial Age, which will be in 1 minute time. Slam has the food to go imp somehow, but he doesn't have the gold.
He's got 16 on stone and counting. So he can... Well, he's going to need another castle because he's not going to have the one on the front for very long. And I would say a little sloppy for Villese to let the units in here because he's have to abandon a lot of his resources right now.
It's so tough to tell if there's a hole there, though.
Yeah, true. That's the one disadvantage, and we've seen it where if you give up army control, normally players are going to punish you. But in this case, he had a perfect balance on it. He'll make some trebs, so we know
Slam
that the
is just
castle will be
sending,
taken
he's
care of.
yeeting units underneath this castle from Villese.
Oh,
Villese has
geez.
ballistics, so all these will die as they run past.
Yep, they got baked. Monk goes for a conversion. That army is running away, as they should. And yeah, I guess Slam didn't know about that castle or forgot about it or something.
Oh, he definitely knew. He tried to deny it, remember?
Oh, yeah, that's true. it's
Castle for him at home, so Slam's going to have enough res to click up soon. 98 villagers to 86. He still has some army left over. He's getting handcart now.
Sicilian Cavalier, though.
Yep.
That's tough. Like, yes, if this goes stable unit v stable unit, technically in many ways, Khmer can compete. They've got amazing farms. They can make Hussars. They can also get Cavalier. But with the unique tech, Halberg, or whatever Dave called it, these things will have Halberg. They'll have 8 Pierce armor, and they're just really tough to stop. I don't even think Halberdiers stop them, to be honest. And you can't go Halbs against Sicilians because they also resist bonus damage.
Yep.
So it's just,
I like the idea
it's tough.
from Slam to send these units to the other side, but Villese is way ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
Has the skirmishers there in defense. There is 2 knights with +2 armor, so they could engage against those skirms if Slam takes out that monk and if he notices in time, but Villese is at the front of Slam's base trying to deny this castle. He's got Trebs pushing forward. He'll be able to take that out even if he doesn't deny it, which I think he will at this point. And Villese is just clearly going to be the winner in this game. I wonder if Slam resigns before he gets to Imperial Age, and there it is.
Yep. I don't know, man. It's a bad sign when we just sit back thinking about Feudal Age.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. It's been the tail for Slam in his losses, and the tail for Villese has been being almost too defensive in the mid game if you think to the Burgundians and Berbers. So I think that as we go to the next game, I'm just curious on what those Castle Age times are going to be. Because every time Slam is able to take advantage in Castle Age, he wins. But if Slam isn't able to do that, Villese's macro just takes him to victory. And in a close series, and it is an elimination match. So reminder that whoever loses the next game is out of King of the Desert. So the stakes are super high.
Yep. Okay, well, going on to game number 5, another decider. I was surprising, actually, when looking at the set, that the Liritato and Slam Villese games go to game number 5, or sets go to game number 5, and the other one does not, which is what I expected the most, I think.
Yeah, I had to look at the matchups earlier. I actually think that the Yo Doubt one wasn't as close on paper in the past as people might have thought. But obviously, great series and just didn't go one player's way. Spoilers. But Dave, I mean, is there any question on what Civ we're going to see from Villese here, or do we already know?
It's Aztecs, dude.
It's got to be, right?
And I guess the question is, like, what do you see from Slam? Because you're going to have to pick a Civ that you know can survive the lame, which is probably going to come in right away. With the Eagle, is it going to be Vietnamese? Do you go forward in lame? Do you go forward and get the goats first? Or is it going to be something like Japanese?
I think that Japanese, with a proper man-at-arm archer play, and maybe even longswords if Eagles come out from Aztecs, I think Japanese have the best overall chances of beating the Aztecs. However, if you're scared of the lame and you don't want the game to go on long, you could go Vietnamese and just try and steal everything. But this is what happens. If you pick Vietnamese and try and lame, Villese will probably just keep his Eagle at home. Right? He'll just wait for your scout. So I don't know if that would work.
Or you send your scout forward, you don't find your extra goats, Villese finds all your extra goats, you fail the lame.
Yeah.
Or you don't find a rhino from your opponent and you're screwed anyway. And he takes your rhino too.
If I was playing Villese in this situation, I go Vietnamese and I try and steal his stuff because I would not have as many capabilities as Slam. But Slam, just like any other high-level player, I think has to go Japanese. You have to have faith in your abilities here.
Strode says you cannot beat the Aztecs. Okay, well, thank you, Strode.
Cannot. To be fair, he probably said a bunch of things that weren't so.
Nope, he just literally said that's the only message in my chat ever.
Yeah,
you cannot beat the Aztecs.
Yeah, you didn't cherry pick that one at all, did you?
Nope.
I agree though in this matchup that Aztecs should be very good. But the one thing I keep thinking back to is Aztecs typically play out into Eagles. If they do play into Eagles, Japanese do have supplies and they have really strong man-at-arms. Then you have to talk about Aztec monks and Aztec eco and other things, but just think Slam is going to, for the first time, have a very different game because we've seen a lot of Scout v Scout today. We won't have that from Villese. So we also have to question, is Villese going to be able to execute with Mesosiv? Because it's a very different build order.
Yeah, and we have the game link, so if he goes Celts, bro.
No. Well, Celts Japanese would also be awful for Celts if that turned into the late game. So that's an extra reason not to.
Yeah, there was no way he was ever going Celts here.
Baskets in my chat says Japanese get fully upgraded Cav archers. Slam is going to pick Japanese, confirmed. That's true. Dude, that's true.
I think like Japanese are one of the civs that actually get all of the upgrades for their Cav archers. I'm not sure if there is another. Is there another one?
Magyars? I mean, there's a lot that do, right?
No, but some of them miss like the final armor and stuff.
Yeah, no, Magyars have full. I can think of a few. Indians get all their armor. Magyars get all their armor.
Okay. I think back in the AOC days, they were one of the only ones that actually did. Yeah,
that's true. A lot of civs were introduced that still have it, which is probably good because in the AOC days, we only saw like a couple civs go Cav archers. Yeah, Turks should. Okay. I mean, there should be a long list. I think Vietnamese do as well, but they have extra HP as well, which is kind of interesting.
That'd be funny if he went Cav archers again. It could work.
That would do it. That would probably do it, but I don't know about Slam. He did go with Khmer though, so that's a pretty big oops if you ask me. All right, so we're thinking about the lame. We're thinking about how strong Aztecs have been, and we have very closed off maps here. A bit deceiving because you do need to venture outside of these woodlines. I'm looking at Villese, and while he technically could make a little arena, you probably shouldn't.
Dude, he's going right away, and Slam is going to miss the goats at the front, I think. No, he's going to find them. Okay, good.
Okay, so there goes the eagle, but can we talk about the 2 back golds for Aztecs? Like, what kind of hacks is that, dude? If he walls that off, 2 back golds is just insane. That's very uncommon, whereas Slam's main gold is on the other side of a hill and the other side of woodlines. That's disgusting.
If he walls that off, Slam is going to be finished.
Goats. Oh no. Slam's goats are gone now. This is almost as bad as Dave's joke was a second ago. Oh God. And don't lose a villager too.
Villese is trying to take this villager. Slam is never going to lose that build though. And he's taking quite a bit of HP. So that means that Villese is going to have to think twice a little bit about taking this rhino. And Slam's actually coming out here with the villager. He doesn't want the rhino to disappear. He says, no, please, no.
I don't think that Villese even wanted the rhino. I think that he's happy to take off the scout HP there. So this is a very shaky start for Slam, and this is what Aztecs are capable of. Granted, 2 other civs in the game are too, but I think at this point you go home and you find your own resources if you're Villese. And if you're Slam, it could be worse, but he also has all of his hunt on the front. So he's going to have to circle around, hope to find his other goats, which he should, and then push in a zebra or 2.
It's not the worst generation for Slam. It's just the fact that the gold is in the back for the Aztecs is so brutal, right? Especially with this civ.
I don't know, dude.
Slam's gold is just in a rough position between those 2 woodlines on the hill.
Yeah, if the gold was anywhere else, I would feel a little better for Slam. But in terms of going feudal, he definitely can be fine. It's not like he lost a rhino. Another thing when comparing laming in this tourney to others is that a boar has 340 food. A rhino and elephant has 400, so you have a bit more food per hunt here. But yeah, Japanese are very flexible in Dark Age. He can make his way out of this, and he will have the faster attacking man-at-arms if he chooses to go that route in the Feudal Age.
And missing 2 goats isn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. I think what hurts
I think he'll take
is having
that against Aztecs any day.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. So if you have a Feudal Age 24 HP scout against a loomed villager, who wins that fight? The loomed villager,
for the philosophers, for sure. No math on stream.
Well, it's 5 damage from the scout. And then the villager does 3. I think it ends up being close. It might be close enough where Villese won't make any risky walls, but my thought is if that scout is weak enough and Villese calculates it, that he could just wall up and he's got the base for it, so. Good job from Slam. He knows exactly where Villese is. Also sees the target areas, sees the wood line. Also ends up seeing the berries here. And we're expecting men-at-arms. We have to see if that actually happens. 3 on wood start, though, for Villese is very weird. He'll probably just transfer more to wood soon, but he will not have the barracks at the time that Slam will have his.
I like how Slam made those houses out there, too. He knows he needs to secure that gold somehow.
I agree. And you know what? This gold would also be questionable in terms of efficiency, but you're Japanese, so your mining camps are cheap.
You can make 2.
Just make 2 of them for the cost of 1, yeah, so might not end up being too bad. Did you see the panic, though? He immediately snagged the rhino, which is probably smart. He went out there with his scout. He was freaking out a little bit.
Yep.
All right, now we have more villagers to wood, so it's kind of like a hybrid build. Instead of 4 on wood, the whole Dark Age, you now send the 5th and the 6th to wood a little later. It's fine. And some walls for Villese. Kind of bothers me he didn't scout that northern wood line, Dave. If he would have scouted that wood line, he could have just extended the same amount of walls towards that area. Yeah. So that'll be more awkward for him if Slam's able to make it over there later. Oh, Slam! With the gates!
Hey, I mean, it's something. I would have loved another gate beside that lumber camp over there to trap him in. It seems like kind of a waste of wood at this point, but he's going to delete them, get most of the wood back, and continue chasing. Also chasing with this villager. The villager looks very determined.
I think Villese wins that fight if he fights on the hill. I think he wins this. Because he has 4 attack. Oh, Slam, don't lose your scout. Yeah, okay, he realized at least. Both players have very weak scouts, and the militia got him.
Nice. That's a good pick from Slam. Okay,
that's really good.
So now Villese can't track that across the map, so he'll have no idea where this men-at-arm push is going to enter. He can have suspicions that it's going to come to the front side, but it could always loop around to the back, and he'll have no idea that it's coming.
It's almost like the additional food for Villese hurt him. Because he has so many goats underneath his TC, but he didn't have the wood for the barracks.
Yep.
So I think he's going to end up opening archers here. But did he forget about his barracks? Or like, what? Hello?
He's going to be 26 seconds until Feudal Age. He still has no barracks here. He's going to build it with 3 villagers.
Yeah. Forgot about that bad boy. And there's nothing to stop the scout militia from just passing over to the berries. But Slam might assume that will be walled up. And, oh, man, Slam just happens to be going the other way.
Yeah.
Range for Slam, though, which is faster than the range for Villese. So he's going to have Japanese men-at-arms that attack very quickly. And he's going to be faster to the archers.
Yep, there's the archer range from Villese. So it's just 1 range defense for him.
Also,
okay, Slam is going to spot that. That's very predictable. The fact that he doesn't have any men-at-arms is going to probably be good for Slam.
Slam could get gate trapped here. He has to be careful. If this was a certain Norwegian, there would be a gate behind the range in the house. I don't know if Villese will do it, though. That would be a little risky.
I think Slam will see that with the scout.
Yeah,
because the villager has to walk all the way around to accomplish that.
Also, if you look at the houses next to the berries for Villese, does that not look like a hole? That looks like a giant 1-tile gap.
No, between those 2 houses, I was looking at that before, but I don't think it is.
I mean, I don't think it is either because you have to assume he'd check that, but holy crap.
Nice pun.
Thank you. Okay, we have the ranges on the way, blacksmith on the way for Villese as well. So far, so good for Slam. You could say the men-at-arms are wasted in some ways. I just like to see him attack buildings more. You know, you're probably not going to kill anything. But
I mean, especially with -1 armor now on the houses, like just keep attacking it. He's gonna be forced to repair that. It's villager idle time, and it's wood,
wait
but
a second.
He's bringing these back to meet up with his other army.
I think he's paranoid. He doesn't see the flag, or he doesn't know where the archers are. I think that he's paranoid right now.
I mean, he has to know by now it's not men-at-arms, right?
Yeah, true. I thought like maybe he doesn't know where the archers are, but I think you're right. I think he's just gonna wait till he has some support. He's done a good job at home making this very cube base neat and tidy. He's still got some gaps.
I think we're going to figure out if that's a gap or not in the houses. I'm pretty sure it's not.
I know there's not a gap between the palisade and the house because you can click and see the white box. But when
the white box lied to us earlier, Tristan. The white box lied to us with the market and the wood line.
It's just the hills, man. This is why elevation is tricky. I'm curious on if we're going to see a market from either player. This does not feel like a game where a lot of town centers and eco is going to be to play.
Yep. And Slam is going in now with the men-at-arms and archers.
What
if he clicks through and if there's a hole, there's not a hole there.
He'll get through pretty quickly. We have an immediate house foundation from Villese. Slam does have fletching, though. Villese does too, but Villese only has 2 archers.
Oh, Slam has a hole, though. Slam has a hole at his base. He didn't finish the wall. Villese's going to be in with the 4 archers.
Oh, God. And Slam's probably going to freak out. And if he loses his archers at the same time, Dave, there's a good potential for that. Oh, this is such a tilter for Slam. He was 1 house away from being walled. He's lost 1. He will lose 2. And he can't break in. Oh, man. I mean, you make your own luck, Dave, in this game. And Villese was able to get the walls down a little faster. And Slam with another Vill exposed. Ouch.
Yep, all because of 4 archers forward. Villese actually targeting the archers instead of that villager now. So he's going to take out the military.
Get the Vill.
Not kill that last villager. Okay, that's good for Slam, I guess. But what's not good for him is he got pushed away at the front, and Villese did not lose a villager. Eco KD is 2-0. You don't want to be behind against Aztecs this early. You want to be ahead in villager kills in the feudal age.
Yeah, and that's like, if anyone was ever questioning why in the previous games, a lot of players just patrolled their armies next to their walling villagers, that's why. Because if you go forward and you get walled out, and then they go forward and they get in and you don't have anything there, they then have an instant lead. Slam also
lost another archer on the front.
And Dave, what's even worse, 70 seconds of TC idle time. So he lost 2 Vills, and he's minus almost 3 Vills because he didn't create Vills while he was micring all of that.
Mm-hmm. And then you factor in the Aztecs carrying more resources.
Yep.
Oh, that's rough.
He could take a good fight, though. He's still got the man-at-arms, and he's still got some solid numbers. So he could take a good fight. It does depend on how Villese approaches it, of course. And, yep, he gets a kill. Slam doesn't get a single one, and it just gets worse for Slam. So do we think we're going to see Villese play into crossbow, or do you think we'll see him switch into eagles here?
I think you could just play crossbow, right? Your economy is going to be better than Slam's.
Mm-hmm.
And Slam always has the potential to go into Japanese like longswords.
Yeah.
Why even risk that with a closed off base? You know there's not going to be much potential to raid in Slam's economy. You know it's probably walled by now.
Yep.
I think you could just play crossbow and then maybe forward siege workshop and pressure him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially with this archer micro, Slam's getting completely undone.
Yep, destroyed.
Just go second range, maybe even third range. And you know what, Dave? He's actually going into the barracks. Yeah, there is a hole there. Again, doesn't look like a hole. But the hole that looked like a hole was what damaged Slam earlier, so... Oh, God. I guess he's thinking if he forces Slam into only archers after taking out the man-at-arms, that he could just finish the game with eagles here.
Yep, only the second barracks, too. Not 3 yet. Slam actually taking a good engagement against the skirmishers with his men-at-arms. Still getting value, and he's going to try and push this army back. He's got to defend this gold. He's placing a tower now. He's about to click up to the next stage, but Villese is going to be quite a ways ahead of him, and this whole... is still here on the right side of Slam's base, so the Eagles could run in there until he patches that.
Heck, the first loss for Slam, I think back to his lack of transitions, Dave. The 1 lumber camp approach, not killing villagers, no archer range switch. The other loss was the previous game, where he made scouts and skirms and just got outplayed in feudal age. Villese has just got a better grasp on how to get some damage in feudal and then get to the next stage. And yeah... that's going to make Slam feel a lot better. If he wasn't tilted already, that might upset him a little bit. Slam's got to know at this point that this is going to be trouble.
Yep. And I love how Villese has continued. He continued to add archers, and he's still adding archers.
I love that.
Oh, he just canceled that one. Okay, maybe he wants the gold in the bank. He's going to upgrade the crossbow, keep these alive for a little bit, and then just go 2 barracks eagle production. So he's going to do a hybrid. instead of just all in eagles like we see all the time from Aztecs.
We have the rare mill wall. As another villager goes down for Slam as he hasn't reacted. The rare mill wall keeping the archers away, but Slam will have to abandon his farms. And Slam with supplies. It's the saddest supplies ever. But he is correctly assuming he's going to see eagles at least.
Yeah,
that would be the play.
But the problem with supplies here is that you're still going to have to face up against crossbows as well. So the eagles can just drag your stuff into the crossbows. Crossbows are going to be sitting on your farm eco. They're going to be in pretty soon here. He's upgrading his own range units, so he's going back there to defend. Should be able to push these off. Hopefully doesn't lose too many villagers in the process. But the eagles are coming in the right side, and there's still that gap near the TC. So he's going to defend at the top with the archers, and the eagles are going to run into his wood line.
Yeah, this is tough, man. I mean, at this point, Villese is also on 2 town centers. He takes the hill with his crossbow skirm army to get a good fight. Sitting behind the other wood line. The eagles are there chewing it up. Villagers just dying everywhere for Slam. Of course, the idle time, and he can't even afford longsword. They're just short swords, man.
He is neither shaking nor baking currently.
Is that a thing now? I like it. Yeah, it really is sad to see someone make it all the way to game number 5 and then lose out, especially in an elimination match, because it means if Slam loses this, he is gone.
I mean, Villese's played amazing.
Villese's played amazing. Yeah, and you can't even say that Slam had a bad day. Like, we've seen bad days from Slam. Maybe he had that in the first round of the group against Leary, but he has had a great game here and good patience when he needs it, Dave. He's just going to back up now. He's going to his 3rd town center. I think he knows his eco's ahead.
I feel like the decision-making from Villese has just been so on point every single one of these games.
He's just so good. Like, he's a full-on meta player. He's so good at towing the line of eco and military.
Oh, Slam, you're way out of position there.
Slam, I mean, Slam doesn't even have longsword. Those men-at-arms are going to do nothing. Yeah, I think Slam will have to call it here, Dave.
Yeah, he's going to lose all his range units. He says, GG, good luck next. I mean, a good performance from Slam to take those 2 games with the Cav Archers, but what can you say? I mean, Villese is a beast. He played the early game in every single match better than Slam did. Every single Dark Age to Feudal Age, out of these 5 games, Villese had the advantage. And Slam was only able to take them back in the Castle Age in the 2nd and 3rd game.
Yep.
But the decision making for Villese has been amazing. The play has been very clean, and he deserves to make his way to the next round.
Yeah, Slam he won with Cav Archers. He also lost a game with Cav Archers, but he just wasn't as dimensional as Villese was. I know that it's going to feel weird to say this, but I do think there's some part of Slam who's at least thinking that he feels as he's improved as a player, that he's happy, but truthfully, the high-level guys are just going to be frustrated with themselves and think back to Khmer, Cav Archers, and all the different things they could have done better. But I don't think Slam would disagree. Villese deserves it. He stays alive in the group. And I'm excited to see him play again, Dave, because he's so good with meta.
Yep.
He could take games off of anyone. We saw it in other tournaments as well, beating Viper in one of the Red Bulls. I could probably list some other games too. So, well played to him. Sorry to see Slam go out. We have one more set today, and it's what? Dogal and Nikov. That'll be juicy.